Hey, Run Through listeners, we have some news. If you've been enjoying the show and want to support what we're doing, you can now subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/The Run Through Podcast.
It is going to be $5 a month if you want to join. We would appreciate it so much.
There's nothing extra on the Patreon yet. We have some ideas.
Just think of it as like you're buying us a cup of coffee or a post-event drink once a month.
Right now, it's just a place to go if you want to show us a little love. We'll have that link in the episode description and in our Instagram bio.
Triple toe, double toe, and then a fall off the end of it, which was absolutely unnecessary and uncalled for. I'm not very much in favor of the counting of points. Does it work for you? No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Run Through, your favorite figure skating podcast where we talk about all the things that make us kiss, make us cry, and make us vote for smokers' rights. Smokers' rights.
Yeah, if you've just showed up here and you didn't listen to Ice Dance Lore Part 1, go back. Stop now.
This is not one of the ones where it's like, no, you can just pick up wherever. I'm sure you can,
No.
but it's vital that you...
The smokers' rights joke will be lost on you, and you don't want that.
No,
you don't want that.
You don't.
You want to be in on that one.
Sarah, we are incredibly lucky because we are joined yet again by our friend Michelle Ellis, Ice Dance connoisseur.
Thank you for
We
having
are
me.
so lucky.
I'm happy to be here and a little nervous again.
Don't be nervous. We're so excited. I mean, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I'm like, what more can the dancers do to me?
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they always have something
Up their sleeves. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Michelle, what is the era that we're doing today?
Well, I'm actually going to take us on a little bit of a time traveling journey. We're going to start.
Oh.
We're going to start where we left off, around 98, 99, go through 2002, and then I'm going to take you on a little journey looking at American ice dance, and that's going to start in 1990 and move very quickly up to present time. And then catch us up to the timeline where we are internationally. And then internationally, we're going to come back around 2002, 2003 and go through Torino.
Wow, okay.
And maybe do a little Russian epilogue. We'll see. Yeah.
They need an epilogue and an EpiPen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last episode we went from 76 to 98, but did almost exclusively Russian lore because they were the ones that were exclusively being successful in the sport.
Yeah. And
they have the best drama.
Yeah, while the Russian lore, it's like kind of fun, messy relationship drama. Well, it wasn't fun for Maya Usova, but for us to talk about, it's messy, and the drama that I'm going to talk about today is a little bit meaner and more political, and less out in the open.
Okay, wow.
And I think you're going to have some feelings about it that are more than like, wow, cheating is bad. This is just...
It's interesting that you're saying more out in the open after, in the first part of the lore, everything towards the end was still available on YouTube to watch as first-hand accounts.
Well, it's like the fighting is sneakier.
I love it.
The deception is
I
sneakier.
love how you described us being like, oh, cheating is bad, as like a pedestrian take. But fair. I want to have a hotter take than that. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Well, for the Russians, a lot of times cheating is normal.
Good, even.
It's fair is false. Smokers' rights.
Well, you both have a personal connection to one of the people that is wronged in this episode, so you're gonna have a strong reaction to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Michelle, take us on the journey. I'm ready. I'm buckled up. I'm safe. Airbags are ready to be deployed.
Okay.
So I'm ready.
All right, so I left off around 98, 99. And after Nagano, I described the Canadian team, Shailene Bourne and Victor Kraatz, were very upset about what they perceived as kind of a judging block in Nagano that deprived them of the bronze medal that they believed that they deserved. And this
is the block that Tracy Wilson was calling out on TV, right?
Yes. And the arrangement that Tracy Wilson on CBS was calling out was that the block of judges were putting the French team, Marina Anissina and Gwendal Peizerat, in third over Bourne and Kraatz. And the way they were doing it was by putting Bourne and Kraatz fifth in the first compulsory dance, so that even if they were third in the free dance, they couldn't get on the podium. Mm-hmm. This is a big commotion. Skate Canada's upset. CBS is covering it. People are talking about it. So, and then there was also a judge on the panel in Nagano, Yuri Balkov, a Ukrainian judge, who was caught and exposed by another judge, Jean Senft, who is a Canadian judge. She recorded him giving directions on how to place people in the event, and he gets suspended for that. She also gets suspended for recording him, which is a whole other thing in itself. But basically the ISU is like, okay, we have to do something. So we're going to make dance a little more transparent. So in 98, when the new season starts, the ISU introduces elements into dance. And they're not as clear as they are now, but if you watch the programs from this era, you can see distinct twizzles, different types of lifts, dance spins, and step sequences with a specific shape and pattern.
That's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And this gave the judges something they can compare dance teams element to element, the way that they do in singles and pairs. They also came up with mandatory deductions for things like stumbles, trips, falls, and other interruptions to a program that are spelled out more clearly. So this is the deduction you have to get if you do this. So I talked about the Russian team of Angelika Krylova and Oleg Ovsyannikov. They won 99 Worlds with their African drums program, and they tried to compete through the next season, but because of Krylova's back injuries, they had to retire. One thing I didn't talk about was the free dance that the French team, Marina Anissina and Gwendal Peizerat, skated at 1999 Worlds. And it was to the music The Man in the Iron Mask. They actually did this music before Yagudin did it, and it was hugely impactful program.
Man in the Iron Mask is what Yagudin, and I know you just used the more appropriate Russian pronunciation, but that is what he skated to when he won the Olympics, right?
Yes, in 2002. Yeah.
Okay.
And that movie, I think, came out in 98. It was the first movie that Leonardo DiCaprio did after Titanic, and it had this great soundtrack, and Leonardo was playing twins, so there was two of them in there, and it was a big
more the merrier
blockbuster.
I've actually never seen this movie.
Me either.
It's okay. It's it's got a great soundtrack.
Not what they thought in Europe. They thought it was excellent. a Peabody Award-winning movie.
So Anissina and Peizerat, and Marina Anissina is a Russian skater, as I described last time, and Gwendal Peizerat is French. And they skate for France together, and they have this amazing chemistry. She's very fiery and passionate, and he has this really amazing kind of lyrical skating style. And together they are just they have tremendous romantic passion in their skating. Mm-hmm. And their Man in the Iron Mask program is a huge breakthrough for them.
Are they romantically involved in real life? Okay.
No. So this program their lifts and their positions, they create these images that stay in your mind, and they hit the crescendos of the music in a way that's really captivating. And this free dance is thrilling to watch. It's really popular, and a lot of people are kind of saying they should have beaten Krylova Ovsyannikov. They should maybe be winning. And another thing that's really unique to Anissina and Peizerat is they do reverse lifts. So every program, every free dance, they always do a reverse lift where Marina is lifting Gwendal. And it's kind of she says it's about showing the strength of her female character, but it just really adds to their aura and their kind of theatrical presentation of these programs. And I want to mention that if you watch this program, it's great, but it really foreshadows kind of what's to come in North American ice dance. I think in a way kind of lays the groundwork for this sort of kind of really technical strength, high quality skating skills, and romantic passion. Very distinctive style that's unique to them at the time, but becomes more popular. And at 99 Worlds, Bourne and Kraatz are third, as usual. They're third. So that takes me into 1999, and this is going to be part one of this part. I'm calling it The Curse of Margaglio.
Oh, God.
Let's go.
Never good.
I love to start my lore episodes with a curse.
With a curse.
There's a couple of them here. So after, in 1999, the ISU decided to allow vocals in the free dance. Previously, it was allowed in the original dance for like a year or two, but in this year, that was like free dance. And so both Krylova and Ovsyannikov, before they've retired, and Anissina and Peizerat are like, oh my God, we can do vocals. We're both doing Carmina Burana. So it was set to be this like face-off season with the two top teams both doing Carmina Burana.
Wait,
this is the
so
last
funny.
song I would have thought of when you say lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, because it's the 90s. There's only a few songs that have lyrics in the world at this point.
So Krylova and Ovsyannikov, they ended up never competing this season because of Krylova's injury. Anissina and Peizerat, with their Carmina Burana program, they sweep the season. They win everything. And Worlds this year is in Nice. So they're competing at home, basically. And like Man in the Iron Mask, Carmina Burana also just builds on this really powerful skating style that is sort of their unique. They have this really intense musical cut, these really innovative lifts. They do a new variant of their reverse lift where Marina Anissina, she like lifts Gwendol up on her hip. He's upside down and his legs are like out in the air. And she has him with one arm, and with the other arm, she like goes like ta-da to the judges. It's very compelling. So
wait, I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Michelle. Okay, I have something so crazy to admit right now that I just remembered. In 2015, when single skaters were first allowed to use lyrics, I, for 1 month, had a free skate to Carmina Burana.
no, you didn't. No. Did you?
I did. Yes. I never used it because I was like, this is awful. I can't.
Wait, who was
skate.
coach? Weren't you with Roth by then?
I was.
Yeah, it's a
yes,
Russian
and
thing.
Tom Dixon did my program.
Oh, well, I don't know what his problem was, but
Tom Dixon is a Russian person. No.
yeah.
No, it's because everybody goes, I don't know why. I'm like, oh my God, I was somebody who was afflicted by the person named Carmina Burana. Like I succumbed to the same disease. Oh my God, I'm the part of the problem.
You are. You're part of the legacy.
No, but you didn't. You figured it out much quicker than these two teams that both compete it all season.
No,
Well,
I did.
Krylova
I
didn't
did because
actually compete, but she was planning to.
Well, she couldn't bear to hear this. Her back was getting out from screaming. Okay, back to you. I'll never interrupt
It's
you.
okay. But this performance, this is like another must watch. These are the two for Anissina. So Carmina Burana at Worlds in Nice. It's like there's a grainy video on YouTube. It gives you chills all over your body. Like they're not even that clean. Like they have some errors. There's like a little sloppiness, but the roar of the French crowd, the intense music, and then their like wildly powerful skating and their lifts and their skills. It's just like it carries you away. And you guys know Tammy Mickle from. She used to do directing for U.S. Figure Skating and Ice Network. She was like the director. Back during this event, she was working for ABC and she was a camera blocker. So like helping the director make maps of the programs for the broadcast, which cameras to take, etc. So she just decided like, I got to do this. I can't not. So she leaves the truck in the middle of the ABC broadcast. She loves to tell me this story. She leaves the truck, goes into the venue while her like job is recording the event, goes into the venue and stands at the boards to watch this competition, like this program. And she said it felt like the noise and the energy in there, it felt like the roof was going to rip off the building and just go like flying into space. It was tremendous.
Wow.
It's tremendous. You really get it if you watch it. This is just, I feel like this is the best of their career, this moment. It's really spectacular.
And we're in 1999, right? The spring of 99.
2000.
Oh, we're in
Worlds.
2000. Okay.
Yeah, 99-2000 season.
Okay.
Yeah. And however, despite them like winning this huge triumphant way, another team wins the original dance in Nice, and the French crowd isn't too happy about it. And this team that wins the original dance is the Italian team, Barbara Fusar-Poli and Maurizio Margaglio. So
Ooh, I think I'm familiar. It's feeling a little cursed.
A little bit.
I'm smelling a curse coming about.
So the season ends. The podiums of Europeans and Worlds are the same, both competitions. Anissina and Peizerat first, Fusar-Poli and Margaglio second, and a Lithuanian team, Margarita Drobiazko and Povilas Vanagas are third. So Europeans and Worlds, same podiums. And this is the first time since 1969, 31 years, that there is no Russian on either podium. Because in 1960...
By flag.
By flag. Well, yeah, but Russian representing Russia or Soviet Union.
Yes.
Yeah, by flag. So 1969 was when Pakhomova and Gorshkov broke through and they got on those two podiums. And so, yeah, this is like 31 years of dominance and they don't even have a medal for their country.
Wow.
Yeah. Drobiazko and Vanagas, they are former Soviet Union skaters. And they started representing Lithuania, which is where Povilas Vanagas is from. They were paired by Tatiana Tarasova, and they're a married couple. They're coached by Elena Tchaikovskaya, who I want to point out was the coach of the team that got on the podium in 1969. So,
wow,
she's still in the game, very much so. Yeah, they're a big audience favorite. They are very like dramatic, and they have all this like kind of like romantic like feeling in their skating, different than Anissina and Peizerat, who are like taking you to like a blockbuster movie. Like this is more like about them as a couple, and they're a crowd favorite. So now I want to tell you about Barbara Fusar-Poli and Maurizio Margaglio, the Italians. They're a very athletic team. They're the first like Italian ice dancers to achieve the level that they're at. This is like their medals at this event are like the first for Italian dance. And they're known for being like very expressive and very emotional. And Fusar-Poli, she is like a standout skater and performer. She has just all around excellent technical skills, expression, power. She's like an ice dance superstar out of a country that never produced anything close to her level in this discipline. And she's also known for her like very hot-headed demeanor, which I think we're familiar with. She's a very like intense competitor. Margaglio, on the other hand, he's much cooler, and he compares their partnership to him handling kind of a wild horse that needs guidance. He said this in a Lifetime feature. Okay, like she's like a horse, and she just needs someone to lead her. He's a really good dancer and performer from the waist up. The biggest issue with this team is there's like a lack of balance in their skating skills. I mean, she's really capable of anything, but he has a lot of trouble with his feet. Like he skates really far forward on his blades, like near the balls of his feet a lot of the time. Whereas in skating, in dance, you want to be further back. And he has a lot of trouble like hitting edges cleanly. He's very unsteady in lifts and footwork, which is not ideal in dance. And so as the team, Fusar-Poli and Margaglio, were ascending this season, a lot of skaters were kind of unhappy about being beaten by them. Shailene Bourne like went on a TV interview this season and was like, I don't understand it, and I don't see what the judges see that I don't see. They're kind of upset. And I think it's interesting to have a team that is not really balanced as a partnership, where you have one that's a lot stronger than the other. There's just they ruffle some feathers with their ascent onto the podium. So also this season, Bourne and Kraatz, they're on the Grand Prix, but they miss the spring because Shailene Bourne needs knee surgery. And after her surgery, the team leaves their longtime coach, Natalia Dubova, and they go to...
yes.
Oh, she'll be back.
I was hoping we would talk more about her.
Yeah, so they leave her and they go to be coached by Tatiana Tarasova in, I think she's in Simsbury, I want to say. She's in Connecticut. And so they're coached by Tarasova. And
she is in Simsbury because Adam told me that in a men's lore episode.
Oh, okay. Her assistant coach also works with them, Nikolai Morozov. And this coaching change is interesting because in 98, remember, Tarasova was coaching Grishuk and Platov. Bourne and Kraatz and their coach Dubova were complaining that they should be on the podium, and Dubova saying they should be winning. And Tarasova said some very mean things about them in the press. One of which she said in 98, in my professional view, the Canadians are not ready for competition this year. But,
competition?
Let alone podiums.
Yeah.
They just shouldn't be out there at all.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear Tarasova change her tune as soon as they're in Connecticut.
Yeah. Well, she does. So the next season is not Anissina and Peizerat's season. They have a good fall, but then they get to Europeans, and they are trailing Fusar-Poli and Margaglio going into the free dance at Europeans. They both fall in, well, Anissina and Peizerat together. They fall in their footwork at Europeans. They finish second overall, but they were second going into the free dance. And then they get to Worlds. Anissina and Peizerat skate really well there, and they are just second overall. It's very controversial. People feel like their title is being taken away from them for like political reasons. They have this free dance that the judges seem to not really like. It's called Beethoven's Last Dance, or Last Night, Beethoven's Last Night. It's a rock opera. It's like classical pieces, and it's this sort of Eurovision rock combination. And
Sure.
I thought it was a pretty good program. They skated it well at Worlds, but they don't get the gold medal. And they're upset. They don't congratulate the Italians. They go and they speak to the media very negatively about it, and they just say like, we don't feel like this was right. The judging is not right here. Something's going on. Fusar-Poli and Margaglio, meanwhile, they like have a great breakthrough. They win Europeans, they win Worlds. They have a Romeo and Juliet free dance, and it's Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. And it's really choreographed well to kind of disguise Margaglio's weaknesses. It's very Barbara-centric. And the program is kind of a little bit of a interesting edit, because if you've seen that version of Romeo and Juliet, it's like got this really dramatic romantic music.
This is the Claire Danes movie,
where
right?
Leonardo DiCaprio's back in figure skating.
Yes,
this is another
Leonardo DiCaprio is everywhere in Ice Dance.
He never left.
Yeah.
Iron mask off, billowy shirt on.
He can do it all.
But if you've seen that movie, there's these scenes where like the Montagues and the Capulet, like the younger dudes in the family are like fighting, and they're like having gunfights and like setting fires at gas station. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's got that like upbeat techno music. So the Italians free dance has like that cut in. And I mean, they like are dancing to all of it. It doesn't really seem like they're in character. They're very much like, oh, I'm going to do some techno dance now. And oh, I'm going to back to the romantic drama. It's an interesting program. But yeah, so the world podium, Fusar-Poli and Margaglio win. Anissina Peizerat third. A Russian team, Lobacheva and Aberbukh, get on the podium. Russia was not too happy the previous year about being shot out of all the medals. And this team they've been around. Remember, Ilya Aberbukh is Marina Anissina's junior partner. They won Junior Worlds a couple times, and he broke up with her because he fell in love with Irina Lobacheva and had to skate with her. Yeah, and they've been with Linichuk for many years. They've always been kind of on the bubble, and this year they finally sort of break through. Bourne and Kraatz, under new coach Tarasova, back from the injury, they are fourth. And Drobiazko and Vanagas, the Lithuanians, they dropped to fifth at Worlds. And there is I know you guys like to talk about the dirge on this podcast. There is a plague of dirges this season. I mean,
when are the dirges not a plague upon our houses in figure skating? God, every
program. And so after the season, the ISU is like, for the Olympics, which is the next season, you guys need to do lighter, more upbeat themes, modern music, uplifting. And most teams follow suit. However, Lobacheva and Aberbukh and Anissina and Peizerat, they are both like 9/11. We're going to do 9/11.
No.
Anyway.
It's uplifting to them.
Yeah, it inspires them. I mean, Anissina and Peizerat's is a little more like U.S. focused, but Lobacheva and Aberbukh is like, this is clearly about 9/11. And we are skating in bedazzled rags.
It's interesting, too, because 9/11, obviously named for the date, September 11th.
Yeah.
Like, this is late to be deciding this about an Olympics that's going to be in February. Do they all basically get new programs in September and October for the Olympics that are 4 months later? Or, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not really sure what Anissina and Peizerat do. I don't know if they were working out this like liberty concept, and then they maybe went all in it.
Doing an American concept anyways because it was an American Olympics, and then they're just like, oh, even better.
Yeah,
they're under attack.
Yeah.
Right. We'll be that. We'll be under attack.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We'll just switch this lift around and we'll just switch.
This is crazy.
Oh, I forgot about the tattered clothes. My God.
I didn't.
Oh, well, so that became like a thing at this time because skaters started wearing rags, like shredded like extraneous fabric, bedazzled extraneous fabric to make it look like they were skating faster out around this time. But Lobacheva and Aberbukh missed
Which has stayed a theme for many years. I mean, people still do that.
Yeah, it's not quite as terrible as it was at this Olympic cycle, but Lobacheva and Aberbukh missed the fall season because of Lobacheva's knee injuries. And
so they have time to get a new program.
Yes, and they don't really know what they want to do for the Olympic season. And then after 9/11...
Oh, it's like a personal 9/11 for them.
Yeah,
an injury.
It's inspired. And they're living in Delaware, so they're kind of nearby. So, going through the Grand Prix, Fusar-Poli and Margaglio win both of their Grand Prix events. And then Alexander Gorshkov, remember the 1976 Olympic champion, and he's the chair of the ISU Technical Committee. He's like the referee, usually the referee at the Olympics. He's like a big deal in skating and in the ISU. He gives some comments about how ice dance teams need to be well balanced. There needs to be equality between the partners. And you can't have a lack of like balance in the team. He doesn't say the Italians' names, but this is like clearly taking a shot at them. And it's interesting because in this era, like the narrative around teams and what people are saying about them is really impactful. And him saying this, it sort of like gets this conversation going, and everyone's like, yeah, you're right. So we get to the Grand Prix final. Bourne and Kraatz win. Anissina and Peizerat are second. Drobiazko Vanegas are third. And Fusar-Poli Margaglio dropped to fourth.
Whoa. The reigning world champions get fourth.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Damn.
Wow. That new knee Shaylin got is really working.
Yeah. And, you know, like Tarasova packaging, they have a really, Bourne and Kraatz have a Michael Jackson themed free dance this year because they want to be uplifting. Bourne and Kraatz do Michael Jackson.
And at that time, Michael Jackson was.
Well,
still a little
bit
more than he is now.
Yeah, that's true. And the Italians
don't ask any Europeans about him. They don't listen to the news.
No.
Tarasova is like Midas. Everyone who goes to her like has success after.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Don't look at me like that.
So, then they go to Europeans. Bourne and Kraatz obviously are not there. Anissina and Peizerat win. Fusar-Poli, Margaglio are second. Lobacheva and Aberbukh are third. Lobacheva and Aberbukh have not skated all fall, and they show up at Europeans and they're third. So it's kind of like, who's going to win the Olympics? What's going to happen? Because Anissina has been beaten by Bourne and Kraatz. Fusar-Poli and Margaglio are the world champions, and they're like losing to different teams multiple times. And Lobacheva and Aberbukh, like, could they be in the conversation for a medal? Because they show up at Europeans and they get one. So they arrive in Salt Lake for the 2002 Olympics. I also want to add, this is the first Winter Olympics that NBC is covering. We're not on CBS anymore. We are on NBC, but we still have Tracy Wilson, and we are still talking about bad judging.
Okay.
And honestly, this event in Salt Lake City is one of the worst judged ice dance events I've ever seen. It is unbelievable.
Wow, okay.
So
Michelle texted me that she was getting really mad while she was doing her outline for this.
Yes, I was.
So I'm ready to hear about the worst judging in ice dance history.
So at the time, there's 4 segments. There's 2 compulsory dances, an original dance, and a free dance. Going into the free dance, the places 1 through 10, they have placed exactly the same in every segment. Like the team that was 6th was 6th, 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 all the way down 1 through 10 going into the free dance. No movement at all. And like before,
interesting.
Yeah, before Nagano, I mean, there was at least some movement in the standings. You'd see a little bit, and they made these changes to the system to try and like put elements in there and make things more fair in comparison across teams. And yet we're here at the Olympics with identical standings all the way down. Another important thing to mention about Salt Lake is before the dance event happens, the pairs scandal rocks the games, where The Russian team with
Okay, so pairs took place before dance.
Yes, it was pairs, men, dance, women.
Okay.
So pairs happened, and it was alleged at the time that giving the Russian pair the gold medal would help the French team in the dance event. And part of the arrangement that was like allegedly discovered or disclosed was that, or suspected, I don't even know how much evidence they had at the time, but this was covered very heavily on NBC, was that the Russian ice dance judge, Alla Shehevsyova, would put the French team ahead of the Italians and the Russians as part of the deal. Surprise, she doesn't. But it was like, there was this big linchpin that was like discovered in this whole arrangement. Was like this Russian mobster made this deal to fix the pairs and fix the dance event on Marina Anissina's behalf. Like he was doing it for her. Like he was friends with her mother, and the whole thing was bizarre. And they talked a lot about this on NBC because when you watch these teams, if you know ice dance, it feels like Anissina and Peizerat should probably be winning things. Like they're the best team. There was controversy last season when they weren't.
They
winning
like don't
things.
need it to be fixed.
Yeah.
If it was being judged appropriately.
Yeah. So it's like Russia's or someone Russian is making a deal to fix the event so that the right team wins, the team that should be winning, if we weren't doing any manipulation here. It's messy and it makes the sport look insane.
Well, also, I guess that means, the Russians have decided, well, we want to win pairs. We want to win pairs more than we want to win dance.
Yeah.
And we have a better chance anyways, like, than Aberbukh has in dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, that's the calculation they've made.
I think so.
And they're like, Marina Anissina she counts for us.
Yeah. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She counts for us. Interestingly...
And Barbara Fusar-Poli does not.
No.
She counts against us.
Yeah. Anissina and Peizerat add a new person to their team this year. Muriel Boucher-Zazouis is still their main coach, but they bring on a consultant and choreographer this season named Natalia Dubova.
Does she still have blonde hair?
No, she doesn't. She's back. She's back to brunette.
She dropped that Canadian act.
Yeah, she's no longer Canadian.
Act. Wow. Okay.
And
I love Dubova. I love her. She's an agent of chaos.
She is. She is always at the scene of the crime.
Let me guess. She doesn't think that Bourne and Kraatz should win anymore.
Believe it or not, she doesn't. And it's crazy because she was talking a lot of shit about Grishik and Platov in 1998, but she was also talking a lot of shit about Anissina and Peizerat. Like, they're the ones that beat her team to the bronze medal. And here she is working with them. So she's there. She's like one of the team members that's with them at the boards and like in the Kiss and Cry and in Salt Lake City. Another interesting thing. So we get to the free dance. Anissina and Peizerat are leading. Fusar-Poli Margaglio are in third. And again, they've been third in every segment. And they're like pissed about this. After the second compulsory dance, Barbara is like, what is going on? We're the world champions. You're putting us third in the compulsory dance? Lobacheva and Aberbukh are second.
They did get fourth at the Grand Prix final.
They did. But Lobacheva and Aberbukh, a team who's never been higher than third at a championship event and missed the whole fall season, are in second in all these segments and going into the free dance.
Well, they're doing 9/11.
They are. Bourne and Kraatz are fourth. And they have Anissina and Peizerat. They have a horrible draw going into the free dance. They draw first to skate in the group. And nowadays we have this sort of ranked system where they go in reverse order, or they have, for a while they were doing a draw where like the top three would draw for the last three spots, stuff like that. No, this was like totally open. So Anissina and Peizerat had to go out and skate first with all their competition after them. And the Russians draw to skate last.
First in the group or first in the whole event?
In the group.
In the last group. Okay,
yeah.
so there's 4 teams to go after them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's very unlucky though, and it's kind of weird. So their program is called An Anthem to Liberty. They have spoken word of Martin Luther King doing his "I Have a Dream" speech.
The famous French poet, Martin Luther King.
Gwendol is portraying humanity, and he's the prisoner of like numerous bonds, and he has ropes all over his costume to represent the bonds around humanity.
Oh my God. This is like Johnny Weir in the ropes being Jesus. Okay, keep going.
And Marina is the symbol of liberty who guides him to freedom. And she basically looks like the Statue of Liberty. And their program expresses hope, brotherhood, and freedom for all. And it's a good program. It is not as impactful as the ones they did a few years ago, but it's good. It's full of their very trademark like lifts and positions, and it's very impactful. There's a lift where he swings her as a pendulum. They do their signature reverse lift. My primary impression rewatching this free dance is there is just hair everywhere because Gwendole's hair is so long and curly blonde hair, and then Anissina has this long, extremely Kool-Aid red, like sleek hair that she wears down, and I mean it is just everywhere. So they skate pretty cautiously, but they're clean. They skate well. It's like safe. It's very much like Michelle Kwan and Nagano. Like they do what they need to do. It's clean. It's not the best they could do. A month before at Europeans, I wrote down this quote from Dick Button when he watched them at Europeans. He said, "Their movement is so emotionally secure. It wrings my heart to see the edges that come out when they perform."
Wow.
It's not quite that, but it's good. It's fine. It's clean. Drobiazko Vanegas, who are in fifth, skate next. They're skating to like French rock music. And they go, and this is their fourth Olympics, by the way. They go all out. They skate absolutely, completely free, deep in their knees, really, really powerful. The NBC cameras lose them at one point. They like skate out of frame. It's a little sloppy due to how fast they're going, but it's very impactful. Tracy Wilson is pleased. She thinks it's great. So then they go into second behind Anissina and Peizerat. Fusar-Poli and Margaglio take the ice.
Here we go.
I want to mention they had a little mishap in the original dance because it was a flamenco theme. Barbara Fusar-Poli got her blade caught in her skirt and almost fell. She kind of had a stumble, and her stumble resulted in a big stumble from Margaglio. Like he was like, "Oh God!" So, but they're still in third place.
Oh no, he's so not known for that.
They're still in third place after
Not
that
yet.
close call. Yeah, and they are doing this Donna Summer program. It's "I Will Survive," and it is like.
Oh no.
The most
Sort of a 9/11 program of their own.
I'm almost feeling like he won't survive by the tone you're taking.
I'm like, the crowd loves it. You know, they're doing this like it's going to be in America, and the crowd's like, yeah, it starts. But this is the most bizarre, extremely fast-paced, frenetic nightmare edit of Donna Summer's music. It is just, it's a lot. And it has not been well received up to this point. So in the free dance, they're going really fast, and it's clear that like Margaglio is like really struggling to keep up. He's way forward on his blades. He is just fighting for his life in this program. And they get into their straight line steps, and he steps out of a 3-turn, catches his toe pick, and goes sailing through the air, and lands on his hip. Sailing, full body in the air, lands on his hip, and he's holding Barbara's hand this whole time, and she like yanks him up, you know. And this is pretty early in the program.
Oh my
God.
God.
I mean, you thought, yeah. So they've got like 2 full minutes to skate. So they skate the rest of it relatively well. But Barbara Fusar-Poli is just devastated at the end of this because she knows her medal is gone. You know, she is just like, I can't believe this happened. And she's so emotional. She's so sad. They get to the kiss and cry, and they're just like devastated. But his fall it's like a 0.2 mandatory deduction to their tech score. So in the big scheme of things, like that can make a difference, but it's not as grievous of an error as you'd think. Because if you like fall on your straight line steps today, you're dead.
Yeah, you're done.
Done. Bye.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting to mention that the Russian judge, Alla Shevsyova, she gives him a 5.9 for presentation.
Alla is the Russian judge who becomes like the center of the Adelina Sotnikova Yuna Kim thing as well in Sochi, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so she goes way back with controversy.
Oh, yeah. She was on the panel in Nagano, too.
Did she still have the same fake ponytail?
Yes. Actually, well, I can't remember. She may not have had it here, but yeah, I'm sure.
She had one at the ready.
I can't travel without my lucky ponytail.
So she gives Fusar-Poli Margaglio a 5.9 for this program. The Italian judge doesn't even go that high. He gives them a 5.8. Alla gave Anissina and Peizerat a 5.8. So this is like the wild, crazy Donna Summer program with a fall in the straight line footwork is better for her than the clean French. And anyway. So then Bourne and Kraatz are next. And it's like, finally, Bourne and Kraatz have the opportunity to win an Olympic medal. Like, the team that was in third fell. The door is open. And they won the Grand Prix final. So it's like, it's possible.
Yeah, and the team that's in second has never won like anything major.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Aberbukh.
Yeah.
Who's going last?
Yes.
Okay.
They skate their Michael Jackson free dance. They're selling the shit out of it. I mean, it was like, great. They skate so well. They're really throwing down, kind of like the Lithuanians were, just going for it until the very last, like, 5 seconds. And they're doing, like, they're ending with these lifts where Victor Kraatz kind of has Shaylin on his shoulder and he, like, lifts her up and in a circle and then does it again. And in the first one, he's kind of off balance. The second one, he, like, overcorrects and they both fall hard. And, like...
in their last lift?
Yes. And the music is, like, ending as they fall. So they just, like, hit a position and they're done. And they, like, look at the judges. They're, like, laying on the ice finishing their free dance.
Oh, my God.
And despite, you know, the fact that they both fall in an element at the end, this is only a 0.3 mandatory tech deduction. But they get their scores and they're less emotional in the kiss and cry. I think they're just kind of, like, in shock. And they go behind the Italians. But I'd like to point out that the Canadians are still ahead of the Lithuanians who are clean.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Lithuania is getting screwed no matter what.
Yeah. And
okay, wait. So the current standings are Anissina is still holding on to first place at this point, and then Barbara Fusar-Poli, and then
Bourne and Kraatz.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now we get 9/11.
Yeah. There was a shot they showed on NBC. They showed Barbara Fusar-Poli backstage as Bourne and Kraatz are getting their marks, and she is so upset. She's so distraught because she thinks the medal's gone. I don't know if she was watching Bourne and Kraatz, but Tom Hammond said, "Well, there's Barbara Fusar-Poli. Looks like she backed into the bronze." Yeah. So then,
thanks, Tom.
Yeah. Lobacheva and Aberbukh come out, and their program is called A Time for Peace. And they look, do you remember that band Tokyo Hotel?
Yes.
Like, they look like they're in that band. They are in black and white, in absolute tatters. Like, they have these complete, like, bedazzled tatters all over their costumes. He has black hair with white highlights. She has white hair with black highlights. It's like, it's a lot. And they, you know, they just look like they've staggered out of the World Trade Center, but in jewels, in gemstones.
Oh my God.
But that's like what they want it to look like, right?
Yes.
Like, you're not saying that. Like, that was their intention, was to look like they were in the attacks. But with jewels on.
It's so classless. It's so
insane.
classless.
Yeah. And it's just about, the program is A Time for Peace.
By the way,
so it's
this
just
would be
healing.
classless now. 25 years later, this would be classless. To do it 4 months later.
This is about 25 days later.
Right.
Yeah. And I also want to mention how inspired Ilya Aberbukh was by 9/11, because he is the one who choreographed Evgenia Medvedyeva's 9/11 program that she does like 10 years after this.
In 2017. Yes.
Oh my
years,
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not the one who's cursed in this chapter.
Nope. It's the Italians.
Honestly, he's probably the most successful person that I'm going to mention on any of this stuff. He's like, anyway, he goes on to great success. Not
as
in
a choreographer primarily,
as a TV producer.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, as a choreographer
Yeah,
too.
because when life gives you 9/11, make
Television.
lemonade. Television. Make programs.
Yeah.
Programming.
So I don't want to be like too mean. I mean, their program, Lobacheva and Aberbukh, their program is very clean. They skate it well. It's much slower than the other teams and like lacking in complexity. There are so many crossovers. I've never seen so many crossovers in my life. It is just all these crossovers into lifts, long carry lifts, and then more crossovers. And then Aberbukh, who's actually a really strong skater, he's doing like all of these tricks to kind of distract from the fact that Irina Lobacheva has her knee wrapped and isn't really doing a lot of complexity. And this is very good like Linachuk packaging, because you kind of don't, you're looking at him doing these big open axles in the, you know, in the middle, like the musical crescendos and things. And So, like, credit to Linachuk for making them look good. They have sort of a reverse Fusar-Poli Margaglio issue, but it's hidden better, and they're pretty clean. So they get their scores, and they finish second in a 5-4 split. They come within one judge of beating Anissina and Peizerat.
Whoa!
Yeah, and the judges that put them ahead are Russia, Switzerland, Germany, and Italy. It's like
Italy's just mad at the French people.
Yeah. He's just like, if the Italians aren't going to win, then I'm going to vote for this Russian team. I'm here for it. Lithuania, Azerbaijan, Bulgaria, Ukraine, and Poland put them second. And there's no French judge on the panel. Lithuania, Bulgaria, and Ukraine all have teams in the top 10 that are kind of perennially left behind. And so I feel like they're just kind of like, we're not participating in this block. We're just like over it. Or we're actually judging the skating the way we saw it, you know, imagine like maybe we'll do that. So Anissina and Peizerat win. It's the first Olympic gold medal for French figure skaters since 1932. And this is Natalia Dubova's
in any discipline.
In any discipline. And this is Natalia Dubova's first time a team she's working with wins Olympic gold while she's actually working with them.
Wow. Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
This story's really about her.
It is.
Finally, talking shit about somebody before you worked with them pays off instead of during and after.
There you go. The rankings in the free dance 1 through 8 are identical to what they were in the first 3 segments. So
despite these falls and stuff.
Yes. Fusar-Poli Margaglio are 3rd in the free dance. Bourne and Kraatz are 4th in the free dance. The only movement is in 9th and 10th place, where the Russians, the number 2 Russian team, Tatiana Navka and Roman Kostomarov, were 9th all the way through, and they dropped to 10th in the end. And then Ukrainians, Yelena Grushina and Ruslan Goncharov were 10th all the way through. They move up to 9th. That's the only movement in the top 10 through the whole competition. So the Lithuanian Federation files a petition challenging this result. It is rejected. And I mentioned Navka and Kostomarov, they're 10th. And then an American team, Naomi Lang and Peter Chernyshev, are 11th. Those 2 teams are coached by Alexander Julin in New Jersey. And I will get to both of them in a bit. So Fusar-Poli Margaglio, after this, they skip Worlds. They cite a lack of enthusiasm. Because they were so upset of being demoted from first in the world to just like you're 3rd because we're going to give it to you with our generosity and appreciate it. I mean, they did just win an Olympic medal with a fall, but they're so upset about the way things have played out. Like we cannot go to Worlds, and they're also very vocally criticizing the judging. So like it's coming from all sides. The people that are they're benefiting and that benefited and are no longer benefiting, and then the ones who are in the opposite. Like everybody's upset with the way that these events are being judged. Anissina and Peizerat don't go to Worlds. They announce their retirement during the event. Lobacheva and Aberbukh win. Bourne and Kraatz are second. It's the best finish by a North American team in like almost 30 years. It was like 1975 was the last time a team finished that high. The real drama is for bronze. The Lithuanians are 3rd in all 3 segments, and in the free dance, they dropped to 4th overall behind an Israeli team, Galit Chait and Sergei Sakhnovsky.
Okay.
And Chait and Sakhnovsky are not, I think they're kind of thought of as generously scored in general. They're very technically, Galit Chait goes on to become a very successful coach, and I don't want to be mean or anything, but like, this is very controversial, and it's not just like the audience, like the skaters are upset about this. So Lithuania again files a protest, and some skaters put together a petition to the ISU saying, we want an explanation of what happened here. 38 skaters from 20 different countries signed this petition, saying, we want you to tell us why the Lithuanians are 4th. Bourne and Kraatz sign it. Lang and Chernyshev sign it. Muriel Boucher-Zazui, coach of Anissina Peizerat, she signs it. And Albana Denkova, who's a Bulgarian ice dancer who's 5th at the event, she presents the petition to the ISU. And ABC Sports like captured this. They filmed her like handing the petition over. But kind of goes nowhere. So Povilas Vanagas at this
is
point,
the original. We're calling it Interpol.
Yeah, truly. Povilas Vanagas, he's at this point, he's pissed, and he goes to the media and he starts talking about this, and he's like, this is ridiculous. He calls out Galit Chait's father, Boris Chait, and he accuses him of buying a medal for his daughter, and he calls him a mafioso. And he's basically saying Boris Chait is making deals so that his daughter gets this medal. And I have a couple of the quotes that Vanagas gave ESPN. He said, if I was on the ISU's technical committee, I would quit. Everything is being decided by which judges are on the panel, and it's unfortunate that the system kills the competitive nature of the sport. When Boris Chait, the father of Galit Chait, heard about this petition, he started threatening people, saying they should thank God if they reach America alive. He even got physical and tried to start a fight with some coaches who supported us. It seems like he and some of the ISU think they are the Godfather.
Okay.
Yeah. So the ISU once again rejected Lithuania's petition, and Drobiazko and Vanagas retire after the season. Vanagas says he can't go on watching his wife cry after being unfairly judged at these events. And
it's it's crazy.
Yeah. So at the end of this Olympic cycle, ice dancing has like a very, very big image problem. It's plagued with questions about fixed judging, promotion of undeserving skaters, lack of technical merit. And throughout the Olympics, the narrative was like commentators pointing to the judges and politics as an explanation for placements more than what was happening on the ice. And again, like this underpinning deal that kind of explained the pairs result, which was this huge news story, has to do with an ice dance team winning that probably should have won in the first place.
Right.
So everything looks really bad. And at the end of this cycle, the ISU was like, we're going to make a new scoring system. We're working on it. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fixed. So that's in the works. And we're looking forward to the next Olympics, knowing that things are going to change a lot more than they already have in terms of scoring, elements, etc.
Okay.
It was a dark time.
Whew. Ice dance is so messy.
Yeah.
Like, the listeners and me, a listener, are going to get done going through men's lore and start this and be like whiplashed by how insane this is.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because dance lore starts with someone having a planet named after them.
Yeah.
And men's lore starts just with a little dark magic. That never hurt anybody.
No.
Dark magic never hurt anybody.
Well, now we're going to talk about defection.
Of course we are.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I thought you'd never get to that.
Okay. So you may be asking, where are the Americans? What's going on with American skating during this time?
Mm-hmm.
And
honestly, you've had me so wrapped up in this drama that I haven't thought about them at all.
Well, believe it or not, during this time in the U.S., someone is building an ice dance dynasty in Michigan. So meanwhile in Michigan, I'm going to start part 2, the rise of Spielbahn.
Okay.
So
Here we go. Woo, I have chills.
let me take you back to January 1990. Were you guys alive? I think you were both babies.
I was alive.
I wasn't.
Ah, okay.
Adam was.
January
So I'll know
1990.
exactly what you were
You'll
talking
remember.
about. I was 2 months old.
Torval and Dean, remember them?
Yes.
1984 Olympic champions. They were doing professional skating during this time. And in end of 89, beginning of 1990, they do a tour of the U.S. called Torval and Dean's Russian All-Stars. It's like a month long. It's them and a bunch of pro-Russian skaters. And they're basically like showing America what Russian skating is like. The tour ends in New York. And the Russian, or I should say Soviet skaters, because the Soviet Union is still in existence at this point. It's not doing great, but it's still there. The Soviet skaters are going to spend 3 days in New York before going back to Moscow. 4 of these skaters, the Soviet skaters, have been talking for 2 weeks about potentially staying in the U.S. There's more coaching opportunities. There's more skating opportunities. Things are difficult at home. And they're also conflicted about how much they're being pressured by the KGB to like report on each other. And they fear that the more they say no to doing these reports, the less likely it's going to be that they're going to get to travel again anytime soon. So these 4 skaters that have been talking, 3 of them are ice dancers. One of them is Gorsha Sur, S-U-R, like the restaurant. Another is Yelena Krikhanova, and she is the former partner of Yevgeny Platov. They won 3 World Junior titles together in the 80s. And the third is Igor Spielban.
Okay.
The 4th skater in the group is a pair skater, Veronika Pershina. So I want to read an excerpt from a New York Times article from 1994 or 93 that was written on Gorsha Sur. With no underground railroad to freedom, Sur settled on the New Jersey Turnpike. There were panicked phone calls, threats from the Russian tour manager, a late-night meeting with the FBI in a motel outside the Lincoln Tunnel. Sur and another Russian skater, Yelena Krikhanova, requested political asylum and filled out the paperwork of escape. The next morning, they moved in with Russian immigrants in Brooklyn, joined by 2 more Russian skaters and a tour official. Eventually, the 5 defectors pooled their money, rented a 1-bedroom apartment, and furnished it with street smarts. Sur said, "The immigrants told us when garbage day was, and we found whatever people threw out."
Wow. And there's 5 of them in a 1-bedroom.
Yes. And the 2 skaters I mentioned, the 2 that were joined them the next day, that was Spielband and Pershina. So they're living together in a 1-bedroom apartment. They have furniture that they've found on the street, and they are broke. They're all broke.
And as a callback to the first episode, tell me if I'm remembering all of this right, but Spielband was coached by Pakomova, who was Gorshkov's partner, and they won the first Olympic ice dance event. And then she coaches Igor for a while as a junior. She dies tragically very young, and he basically never competes again.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So she passes away in 1986, and he becomes a pro skater, and he does like pro skating. There's a ton of opportunities for him to do that, touring and things. Yelena Krikhanova was like one of his partners that he skated with in, just these pro dance shows. Basically, these skaters are broke. Gorsha Sur decides to get a job as a dishwasher. Before he can literally get his hands dirty, he is offered a coaching job in Detroit through some friends he has, skating friends. So he leaves New York and goes to Michigan to start coaching in Detroit. And he also reaches out to an ice dancer there who he's heard of and he knows is looking for a partner, and her name is Renee Roca. And she is a retired American ice dancer. And Renee Roca is known for her very European style. She's had a lot of classical dance training. She's a really standout kind of artist and performer, very, very creative. So Roca and Sur team up and they form a pro partnership. And the thing to know about them is they're really, really good together. They just, they gel, they're special. And the meeting of their creative minds, they're very talented, and they start training as a pro team, and they start doing coaching and choreography in Detroit together. So in 1990, they work with a U.S. team that's training in Detroit, Elizabeth Punsalan and Jared Swallow. And they give them this free dance that is stock car racing themed. So the Punsalan and Swallow each play cars, and they're on the same team, and the whole program is them doing a race together, getting a wheel change. They do all these different, they act out all these different elements of stock car racing in a very creative, dancey way. And it is so unique. This program gets domestic and international attention, and it's a huge breakthrough for Punsalan and Swallow. It's very creative. And this was Roca and Sur's brainchild for them. At the end of the program, Elizabeth Punsalan crashes out, a car crashing, and it's Dick Button loves this. He's gushing and gushing. They win nationals with it, and they even have choreographed bows where they're still doing their race car choreography.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So Punsalan and Swallow win the U.S. title in 91 with this program. It's their first title they've won. But then they miss the 92 Olympic team because they have some issues at nationals in 92. I think they have a fall in their free dance. They don't make the Olympic team. Swallow wants to retire, but Elizabeth Punsalan convinces him let's keep going for another Olympic cycle because the next Olympics are in 2 years. Let's just do it.
Yeah, because that's when they changed it.
Yeah. Roca and Sir, meanwhile, in 1992, that along with the change for the Olympics, like being within 2 years, they also changed this rule about professionals returning to amateur competition. And Roca and Sir decide, like, let's do that because, and I think they probably had a lot of people telling them to as well, because they are so good together. And the things that are really unique about them, they have this, the lifts that they do are really stunning. It's something about the way that they come up with them together. They have these really inventive positions, and they also, something about their movement, they have this like jazzy, bluesy style that's very engaging. And so they decide, like, all right, well, let's just try it. So they leave Detroit, they move to Colorado, and they start being coached by this dance coach, Sandy Hess, in Colorado Springs. They go to 93 nationals, and they win. And then Roca and Sir go to Worlds. They make their World Championship debut together, and they finish 11th. And they secure a spot for the U.S. in the 94 Olympics, U.S. ice dancers. For an American team to kind of come through and, like, it sounds like being 11th is like, you know, but they just had this like slinky chemistry that was really well liked by judges, and they really like they kind of like they got a lot of attention. They were looked at like, wow, you guys are really good. You can potentially go to the Olympics. The problem is that Gorsha Sir was he had like political asylum, and he was not a U.S. citizen. So I want to go back to Punsalan and Swallow. Meanwhile, in Michigan, Igor Spielbahn has made his way from New York, and he is also in Detroit. And he starts working with Punsalan and Swallow as their choreographer in 92. And they recognize something in him right away, like, we want you to be our main coach. So the next year, he becomes like their full-time coach. He's fully in charge of their team. And Punsalan and Swallow are also a couple off the ice. They get married in 93. So going into the Olympic season, it really looks like Roca and Sir versus potentially Punsalan and Swallow, maybe some other teams for the Olympic team. But there's an effort in Colorado. A Republican congressman and Democratic senator, they push for a bill to give Gorsha Sir expedited citizenship. But they are doing this at the last minute. I mean, this is like the end of the year, November 1993. And their justification is that if he doesn't get the citizenship, his partner, who is an American, will suffer. She's never been to an Olympics. You know, this team's really special. So they forward the case, this House subcommittee forward the case to Congress for a vote. But Congress is in recess until mid-January. So Roca and Sir, they have to apply. So they're thinking he can get the citizenship. It'll be right before the Olympics. The Olympic team is named at nationals. Under the old rules, U.S. figure skating rules, like the national champion is automatically added to the Olympic team, and they only have one spot. So whoever wins nationals is going. The USOC, the U.S. Olympic Committee, has a rule that you have to have citizenship at the nationals where you qualify. So they apply for a waiver of that rule because nationals is a few weeks before the earliest he could possibly get citizenship. They find out, Roca and Sir find out the week before nationals, so last week of December, that the USOC has rejected their request for a waiver. So even if Gorsha Sir could get citizenship, it doesn't matter. They cannot make the Olympics.
Does he end up getting citizenship?
I think so, but not during his skating career in a way that matters for an Olympics.
Okay, so he doesn't get it in January in that vote.
No.
Okay.
I don't know if they even have it because it's like moot
because they
at that
realize
point.
He's not allowed to go at that point. That's kind of shitty of the USOPC, I feel like.
Yeah.
I guess it was the USOC at that time.
Yeah. It would have been really, really close, like really close. So they go to nationals anyway. In practice, Renee Roca has a collision with another team. Galit Chait was actually one of the people on the team. She was skating for the U.S. then. And Roca breaks a bone in her arm. She comes back to the rink.
Wait, Galit Chait was skating for the U.S. now?
And this is in 94.
This is before, because we went back in time to do the North American story.
Yes.
So Galit Chait she is American, right? Like she was born in the U.S.
Born in Israel, but I think she grew up in the U.S. Yes, her family moved to New Jersey when she was younger. So
got it.
She's American too. Yeah. Okay. Kind of like Natalie Portman, I guess. Yeah. We think of her as American, but
this is just like Natalie Portman.
Just like Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. She's just like Natalie Portman. Her dad is a mafioso.
Yeah.
Okay, so Renee breaks her arm at Nationals where they've already sort of lost all hope anyway.
Yeah. And I want to point out 94 Nationals is in Detroit and is the site of another violent crime.
Stop.
This is the Nationals where Nancy Kerrigan is attacked. So, like,
Yes.
this is a mess, this event.
Oh my God.
So Renee Roca goes back to
Renee,
skate, and
nobody's more mad about Tanya Harding's
No.
attack than Renee Roca, who gets no attention for her broken arm.
yeah. She skates the
Because
compulsory
Nancy's
dance.
knee isn't even broken.
know.
She just got whacked.
Renee, like, literally
Renee's arm is
broken and in a cast. And she skates the compulsory dance in a cast, the first compulsory dance.
Oh my God, and literally gets no attention.
No. I mean, I didn't even know this. I, like, looked this up when I was doing this research. Sorry, Renee Roca. But she can't, like, she can't make a fist with her hand, so they end up withdrawing after the compulsory dance. Punsalan and Swallow win nationals. Punsalan and Swallow are given the Olympic spot, and they go to Lillehammer and compete.
With Igor as their coach.
With Igor Spielbahn as their coach. Actually, side note, I grew up in Dallas, and I went to 1993 Skate America in Dallas, and I found my program from that recently, and Igor's name was in it. It was kind of cool. It was like,
That's
I don't
crazy.
Wow.
ancient history, ancient dance history. Anyway, so this isn't lighthearted, but Punsalan and Swallow have a devastating family tragedy right at the beginning of the Olympics. Elizabeth Punsalan's father is killed by her younger brother, who has schizophrenia.
Oh my God.
He kills him in their house. It's horrific. And like 2 weeks later, they're like skating in Lillehammer. So this becomes like
God.
the story of their Olympics, and it's, covered pretty, they have to talk about it. Their commentators are talking about it, and the team is like, skating is the easiest thing for us to do. So this really overshadows their Olympic debut. Yeah. Igor's dealing with a lot of stuff right
And they're
now.
already married to each other at this point
Yes.
also, right?
Yeah.
So he's
Yes.
he's in the family too.
Yes. Yeah.
Ugh.
But they go and they skate. I wouldn't say they do their best performances, but like they fight through and they skate pretty well. And I think they're 15th there. So after this season, something comes to light about Gorsia Sir's citizenship appeal. So it turns out that Renee Roca and Gorsia Sir were not the only people lobbying Congress about his citizenship. It's revealed that Punsalan and Swallow participated in a letter writing campaign to Congress to try and block him from getting citizenship.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I have,
Oh my.
yeah, they wanted to either delay it so that it was too late or just, block it completely. And I found quotes that they gave to ABC in a feature where they actually openly talked about doing this.
But
Jared said,
it's later, right? Like it's discovered later that they
correct.
did it.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's covered pretty heavily in the next season when both teams are still competing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So Jared said, frankly, we wrote letters of disapproval for the reasons that everyone should go through the system of getting naturalization in the same manner. Everyone should be equal. There wasn't one individual who pushed it. There was quite a large contingent. And I'll be honest with you that we were part of that contingent. And Elizabeth Punsalan said, to have the citizenship or naturalization rushed, I think, was the point of view we were coming from. It hadn't been done for any athletes in the past, or anyone. So we were just trying to use our rights as citizens and use the government, democracy, and whatever to our advantage.
Uh-huh.
layers
Citizenship
to
for
this-
me and not for the...
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Sounds like you don't really love your racing car program anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... because they had...
Yeah.
That's...
Trained
They
together.
were
choreographed
Doing
them.
choreography for them.
That's shady.
Sorry, that is stuff that will come back to
That's
haunt
like,
you.
that's a bridge burned that you didn't even need to burn. She broke her arm.
Yeah. Well, and the USOC denied their waiver. So it was like, didn't
Right.
even matter.
Right.
And the other layer to it is that their coach defected with Gorsia Sir. I don't know what Spielbahn and Gorsia Sir's relationship was like, but like at this point, but they were.
I mean, they lived in a 1-bedroom apartment together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's yikes. Okay.
Interesting.
It's
yeah.
kind of messy. Roca and Sir come back the next season. They win nationals. They beat Punsalan and Swallow. There's lots of interviews about them back and forth asking about each other. It's like a real kind of messy rivalry. So Roca and Sir end up going professional, I believe, in 96. Renee Roca has become a very successful choreographer. She choreographed Efima von Mitrofanov's programs this season.
In Paris. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think she's in Paris. Yeah. I think she's still based in LA. But she has a really, lot. I think actually she was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year as well. They did that at Nationals. They inducted her. Gorsha Sir actually, after his skating career, they have a really good pro career. He became an attorney. He went to law school in San Francisco, and he was like, yeah, I can't imagine, because I barely got through law school and I'm a native English speaker. I think that's really impressive that he did that.
Wow, it is incredibly impressive.
Anyway, Elizabeth Punsalan and Jared Swallow go on to have basically like an ice dance dynasty. They win 5 U.S. titles in total, 4 of which Spielbahn coaches them to. They make a ton of progress. And at this time, you really start seeing what kind of coach Spielbahn is and what he's doing for his teams. He works with a coaching partner, Liz Coates. She's a British ice dance coach. And they give their teams this sort of like amazing speed and technical cleanliness through their elements. And it's really incredible how Punsalan and Swallow like improve. And they become up to the point where they're like one of the best teams in the world. They're 6th at Worlds twice. They're 7th in Nagano. A lot of people feel like they were kind of robbed in Nagano and should have finished higher there. But because of the block judging, they were, kind of deprived and held down. So they retire in 98. The number 2 team, the U.S. team, the U.S. has 2 spots in Nagano. The second team are a team, Jessica Joseph and Charles Butler, who are also coached by Spielbahn. They are the youngest team in Nagano, and they win a World Junior title that year. It is the first World Junior title by an American team, ice dance team, ever. And it's the first time that an American team gets on the dance podium at Junior World since, I think, 1984. It's pretty impressive. Like, you see this kind of dance program that Spielbahn has built in Michigan. He has the entire Olympic team, and he has the World Junior champions. And that team, Joseph and Butler, they split in 98 after they win Junior Worlds. So in 98, there are 3 teams. Yeah. There are 3 teams training with Spielbahn and Coates. Naomi Lang and Peter Chernyshев, Jamie Silverstein and Justin Pekarek, and a new team that just teamed up in 1998, Tanith Belbin and Ben Agosto.
Tanith and Ben.
Here we go.
That's the only tone with which I will talk about them.
I know.
Okay. All right. I'm scared now because you did foretell that a team that we know is going to be negatively impacted in this episode, and I'm scared that I now know who that is.
You might know. Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about Lang and Chernyshев first. In the U.S., there was this sort of phenomenon that started with Gorsha Sir of American women skating with Russian men. They called it like Rent-A-Russian or whatever. But Gorsha Sir was already in the U.S. and retired with no intention of going amateur. But there were a lot of kind of ice dancers that would reach out to these, Russian skaters who wanted to get the hell out of the former Soviet Union. And they would come to the U.S. and skate with them. And another team that kind of was like fit into this mold was Lang and Chernyshев. Peter Chernyshев, however, came on his own to the U.S. He saw Naomi Lang skate at U.S. Nationals, and he wrote her a letter to ask for a tryout. Peter Chernyshев is a really standout ice dancer. You may remember I mentioned him last episode. He was the skater that Oksana Grishuk was considering skating with in 1992 after she was kicked out of Dubova's camp. Peter Chernyshev's really, really, really talented. And I have to add, he's very handsome and very...
I'm glad you added that.
Very handsome. And I think it's important to mention because there was a huge fan appeal at Nationals when he started like competing, because I think there's a big overlap between the type of people that like travel to a skating event to see Michelle Kwan skate and people who would like to see Peter Chernyshев skating. And it kind of added to this ice dance, the growth of ice dance in the U.S. There was this sort of like level of interest in him and his partnership. So Lang and Chernyshев, they're a very like tall team. They're known for like elegant classical skating. They have this very like fairy tale romantic look on the ice. They have a lot of ballet training, ballroom inspired, and their programs weren't that like technically challenging, but their strength was just this beautiful execution. Also have to mention that Naomi Lang was a member of the Karuk tribe of California. And when she competed in Salt Lake City, she's the first Native American woman to compete in a Winter Olympics ever.
Wow.
Lang and Chernyshев were paired by Natalia Dubova in Lake Placid after their tryout, and they trained with her for a while. And then they go to Michigan to train with Spielbahn. So they're training with Spielbahn, and they win the 99 U.S. title and the 2000 U.S. title. Another team they train with are Jamie Silverstein and Justin Pekarek, who are a very exciting up-and-coming team. They're fast, they're really technically strong, they're very expressive, and there's like a lot of buzz around them. They win the 1999 World Junior title and the U.S. Junior title, and Jamie is like 16 when they win these titles. She's really young. They move up to senior in 2000, and they finish second at nationals behind Lang and Chernyshев. They're like third at four continents, 12th at worlds, and they're getting a lot of attention for their skating. And there's a lot of people saying, and I mean, they're saying this on TV too, like this could be the best American ice dance team ever. There's so much potential in them. And yeah, they're so young and they're so talented. It's kind of exciting that we have like these like two teams on top that people are interested in. So in 99, Igor Spielbahn has the U.S. Junior champions, which are Silverstein and Pekarek, and the U.S. champions Lang and Chernyshев. In 2000, he has the teams that finished first and second at nationals, and he has the U.S. Junior champions, Belbin and Agosto. After that season, Lang and Chernyshев leave Spielbahn because they feel like there's a lot of tensions sharing their coaches with Silverstein and Pekarek. They said, we just felt like we weren't getting as much attention from our coaches as we wanted. So we decided to make a change before last year's Worlds. For most of last year, we were training ourselves because of our coaching
Interesting.
problem. Naomi Lang said this. It's a little bit of a familiar refrain because other teams that leave this camp, they kind of say something similar, like, we love our coaches, but they kind of lost interest in us. So Lang and Chernyshев leave Spielbahn and they go to Alexander Zulin, who is coaching in New Jersey. However, from here, you kind of expected Silverstein and Pekarek to just sort of like take off and take over the world, but they miss all of the fall 2000 season because Jamie Silverstein goes into treatment for an eating disorder, which she's been struggling with for a couple of years. And summer 2000 is particularly difficult for her. And she gets to the end of the summer, start of the skating season, is not strong enough to train, and comes to our coaches and partner and just say, I can't go on like this. And then in January 2001, Silverstein and Pekarek announced their split. And this is just it's shocking in ice dance, because in U.S. ice dance, because everyone had so much riding on this team. They were so excited about them, and I think thought that she was going to come back to the sport and they were going to resume. She was getting treatment.
So does she, when she goes to treatment, just decide that she's not going to come back to skating at all?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that it's not a healthy environment for her. And that
Probably
she's
right.
not going to be able to heal. Yeah. In that environment. She ends up going to
really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, good for her, but that's sad.
Yeah. And she spoke a lot about how her partner and her coach Igor Spielbahn, like, were trying to help her. Like, they would try to get her to eat at practice, were very encouraging about her recovery, but it was like, it's beyond their depth to help with. So she goes to Cornell and she spends 2 years completely off the ice, like doesn't even touch her skates. The blades are rusting. In 2001, back in Detroit, a coach named Marina Zueva joins Igor Spielbahn at his rink, and they form a new coaching partnership. Marina Zueva, I mentioned in the last episode, she was an ice dancer who trained with Yelena Tchaikovskaya in the 70s. She left skating pretty shortly after her senior career began to become a choreographer, and she went to like Russian National Theater School of Choreography or something. And
a famous school, Russian theater choreography, something.
You're just saying words.
Yeah. But it's, she gets this training as to be a choreographer.
Yeah,
and when
they don't have any DEI there, so it's very good. They love it.
When she's getting her degree, she starts working with this Soviet pair team, Ekaterina Gordieva and Sergei Grinkov.
Okay, yeah.
And she spends like over a decade doing work for them. And she is known in skating as this outstanding choreographer because the work she does for them is absolutely exquisite. I mean, not just in pair skating, but these are like sport-defining programs, just so monumental and impactful and important. And Gordiev and Grinkov, they are very famous in the U.S. in the 90s. And Zueva is also like kind of brought to prominence because of her association with them. But after the fall of the Soviet Union in 91, Zueva came to North America to coach and do choreography. I think she started in Canada. And then in 2001, she comes to Detroit. So now I want to get to the third team I mentioned that is training with Spielbahn, Tanith Belbin and Ben Agosto. So Ben Agosto was a student of Spielbahn's and needed a partner, and they found Tanith Belbin in Canada. She was in Montreal. And in 98, she moved to...
They found her in Canada. Like she was wandering in the forest.
Her. Yeah.
In a mall. like a modeling agency. It's like, what are you doing next week? How does Michigan sound?
Yeah. So she moves to Detroit. I mean, yeah. And their first like competitive season together is 99-2000. And in their first season together, they win the U.S. junior title and the bronze medal at Junior Worlds. Like, this partnership is really special right away. And they keep improving. In 2002, they win the world junior title. And they have a very different style from Lang and Chernyshев and even Silverstein and Pekarek. They have these very technically complex programs with like, but they're both very strong skaters, capable of like really challenging choreography, and have this like upbeat, carefree chemistry on the ice. It's very cheerful and fun and almost like kind of a throwback in their energy, but also with really strong technical skills. And remember, in 98, the ISU introduced elements to ice dance and introduced a more technical judging system. And you really see in this era that Spielbahn is coaching his teams to skate in this system, and he's doing it better than anybody else. And Belbin and Agosto in particular are just rising like cream to the top with just their really, really strong execution. Another important thing that's happening at their rink is a lot of the skaters are doing full run-throughs, which is not necessarily something a lot of ice dance teams did in practice back in the day. But it's this sort of like a thing that Spielbahn and Zueva have their teams do on the regular. So Belbin and Agosto move up to senior domestically in 2001, and they finish second behind Lang and Chernyshев 2001, 2002, and 2003. 2002, they technically qualify for the Olympic team, but they cannot go because Tanith is Canadian.
Right.
She does not have not because she's Canadian, but because she doesn't have U.S. citizenship yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the citizenship process...
Because she was found in the
Punsalan and
forest.
Swallow were campaigning against her.
Yeah. They might have been. No. They were honestly very inspirational for the skaters in Detroit and really well respected there, which is also why I was kind of shocked to find this information about them when I was preparing
You're
for
talking
this
about
episode.
Punsalan and Swallow? They were
Yes.
inspirations to everybody?
Yeah.
I mean, they were very successful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So because of the length of the U.S. citizenship process at this time, the team is aiming to compete, Belbin and Agosto are aiming to compete in the 2010 Olympics is when they expect, citizenship will be in order. So 2002, they can't go. But they have this domestic rivalry at home with Lang and Chernyshев. And like I said, there's a lot of attention on Lang and Chernyshев because a lot of people really like them. They're very, very nice to watch. They're very good skaters, and they have this very elegant style. And Tanith and Ben have like a very different look. Like it's much more youthful, carefree, and technically valuable. Like they're very contrasting styles. And a lot of the there was a lot of people in dance at the time who felt like Tanith and Ben should have been really pushing into the league. Like they should be winning. Like it's their time. Let them pass. They don't pass them though. 2003 Nationals, Belbin and Agosto have this Elvis free dance where Ben is playing Elvis and Tanith is like a hysterical fan. And it's charming. It's like very fun concept, and it like gives them range, and it gives them like a lot of interest because it's not like they're doing like traditional dance styles. Like they're doing something new, and it's very appealing. So they go to 2003 Worlds in Washington, D.C., and Belbin and Agosto beat Lang and Chernyshев at Worlds for the first time.
At
They're
a
seventh.
home Worlds.
At a home Worlds. They're seventh, and Lang and Chernyshев are eighth. 2003, after the season.
And that's still good perspective because like American Ice Dance is still like they're in 7th.
And it, unfortunately, like, so a lot of ice dance, it's very like a wait your turn type of system. And unfortunately, like that's happening in the US at home as well.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of what people are complaining about. Like we should do it differently. You know, we should give this younger team the opportunity that they're earning. But anyway, they do it at Worlds before they do it at Nationals. In 2003, just a little logistical note, this will come up later, but in 2003, Spielbahn and Zueva and all of their teams, they leave Bloomfield Hills and they move to a rink in Canton, Michigan called the Arctic Edge Ice Arena, where some of them will remain for a very long time.
Some of them.
This is all still suburban to
Ominous.
Detroit. But Arctic Edge Ice Arena. Okay, so we get to the 2004 Nationals, and Lang and Chernyshев are second in the compulsory dance behind Belbin and Agosto. And everybody's like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. However, in the warm-up for the original dance, Naomi Lang re-injures her Achilles, which has been an issue for her the past couple seasons, and they withdraw. So Belbin and Agosto don't have the opportunity to actually defeat them at Nationals, but they go on to win their first U.S. title.
Okay.
And and so Belbin and Agosto win. A team from a Morozov team that trained in Connecticut, Melissa Gregory, Denis Pechikov are second, and a team named Lauren Galler-Rabinowitz and David Mitchell are third.
Okay.
Just remember those names: Lauren Galler-Rabinowitz and David Mitchell.
The tone with which you're saying these names is making me excited.
And when you say remember these names, I'm going, can't forget it.
Too.
Yes.
And honestly, Gregory and Pechikov, I'm not going to talk a lot about them today, but you should just know that they're the second-ranked ice dance team at this time and are actually doing some really amazing coaching right now. They might have a team in Milan next year. We'll see. But yeah, they're not the ones I want you to remember for purposes of this episode. So in 2004, after Naomi Lang re-injures her Achilles, Lang and Chernyshев retire. Belbin and Agosto go to 2004 Worlds and they're fifth. It's the best finish by a U.S. team at Worlds since 1990. And then in 2004, going into the 05, so the 04-05 season, the scoring system changes.
Right.
And we switch over to code of points. And again, so Spielbahn and Zueva were very uniquely positioned in being really on top of changes in the scoring system that made ice dance more elements based and really honing in a technical clarity that made their teams very successful and competitive. So there was like this like level of athletic preparation in the way they trained at home, the clarity of their elements and their performance in competition. And this like really crystallized when code of points come into place. You know, some coaches adapted to it better than others, but no one adapted to it better than Igor Spielbahn. And he really trained his teams to the system. And so this comes into play in 2004. And Belbin and Agosto, they win another U.S. title in 2005, and they go to 2005 Worlds in Moscow, and they win the silver medal.
Whoa.
Like cream to the top.
Wow.
And honestly, it's a combination of like, they're such good skaters and they're so like well prepared, but something about the way that they're using the judging system, it's sort of like their path just opens up and they just rise to the top. Something about the leveling of the elements, the way GOE works, the way program components work, like Spielbahn has it figured out and builds these programs tailored to it. And they're up there. So they finished second at 2005 Worlds. Gregory and Pechikov are 11th. 2 and 11 is 13. The United States has 3 spots in ice dance for the 2006 Torino Olympics. And back then, you didn't have to go to qualifying competition. You just did it at Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Belbin and Agosto's finish is the highest since 1975 by an American team. And this is the first time since 1984 that the U.S. has 3 spots at the Olympics in ice dance. And I want to emphasize that Tanith Belbin was not even alive at the time that the 1984 Olympics happened. She was born in July. So this is a lot of history. Like Tanith men are making tons of history for the U.S. And the U.S. is suddenly like in the mix in ice dance in a way that it has never been. Well, it hasn't been in 30 plus years. And this is really exciting. And it's like, you know, Tana the Ben could like do really well in Torino if
she had citizenship. I was just going to ask, what's the deal? Because she's expecting 2010 to be the first time it's all in order.
Yeah. Well, we will get to that. But I'm going to take a break right there, and I'm going to switch back over to international ice dance. Okay. You guys ready for part 3?
I'm fully ready for part 3.
I don't feel ready. I'm scared. Okay. What's part 3 called?
Part 3 is called The Charisma of Navka.
Ooh.
Okay, well, since Michelle and I have been friends for many years, I've heard some version of some of this, I think, many times. One of Michelle's very favorite ice dancers ever.
There'll be some new things in here. There's some surprises.
You don't have to deny your fandom, your Navka fandom.
I'm a fan. I'm a big Navka fan. I'm also a big fan of Muriel Boucher-Zazouis. I don't know if you can, notice that by the fact that I pronounce her name correctly. I feel like if you
all four of
want to show respect to a skater, you do that. But yeah. Anyway. Okay. So the year is 2002. The Salt Lake City Olympics have ended, and ice dance is not in a good place. So there's no new judging system yet, but we know it's coming. 2003 Worlds, as I mentioned, are in Washington, D.C., and Bourne and Kraatz finally win a world title. Finally. They have been on the outside for so long, waiting, and they finally win their world title. And this is the first time a North American team wins a world title in ice dance. Ever.
Okay.
Because Lobacheva and Aberbukh won in 2002 and Bourne and Kraatz are second. They reverse it in 2003. Bourne and Kraatz win, Lobacheva and Aberbukh are second.
Okay.
So Bourne and Kraatz have this super intense free dance this season to Adagio, and they're really criticized for having to become Russian to win. They skate it really well, and I mean, personally, I really enjoyed seeing Shailene Bourne selling the Russian diva kind of character that she was doing. I think they do it really well. But people are simultaneously really happy for their win, but also kind of sad that they're only rewarded when they adopt this really heavy Russian style. And at this time, Bourne and Kraatz are coached exclusively by Nikolai Morozov. He and Tatiana Tarasova split after the Olympic season, and he's on his own. Bourne and Kraatz stay with him. So this program is his. He came up with this program for Bourne and Kraatz to win Worlds with because he knew it would win. Mm-hmm. And Lobacheva and Aberbukh, like I mentioned, are second. And their coach, Natalia Linichuk, is pissed. And she says some really mean things about Bourne and Kraatz in the press. She said, before the Worlds, nothing criminal happened. But in Washington, a portion of the judges gave Bourne and Kraatz a gift for long patience. These skaters were in the world elite for many years, but were never champions. So they pitied them.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. That's rough.
It wasn't very nice.
No. Can I ask, what is Shaylin's current relationship status with Nikolai?
They're dating.
Just coaching? Okay, they're dating. Okay.
They're dating. And she marries him in 2005, and they divorce in 2007. Okay. But they're just dating at this point. Okay. And I think they were dating the year before at the Olympics, but I'm not totally clear on that.
So he's coaching them, and they're dating.
And dating her.
Okay.
Yes. In third place at this World is a Bulgarian team, Albana Dankova and Maxim Stavisky. I mentioned Dankova the year before. She was the one that submitted the petition. They're a really interesting team. They're very similar in height. Maxim Stavisky is an outstanding, out-of-this-world skater. He is very much like the Jean-Luc of his era, deeply respected by all skaters, unbelievable skills. Unfortunately not very tall, but he has a partner that's the same size as him, and they can, they make it work. They're very good. They are coached by a man named Alexei Gorshkov in Russia. Not to be confused with Alexander Gorshkov. Mm-hmm. Alexei Gorshkov, no relation, is a coach who has been in Russia all this time. Didn't come to North America. And so this is really one of the first high-level teams we see out of Russia, although they're not skating for Russia, coached by a coach over there. Mm-hmm. Most of the high-level Russian dance coaches are in the U.S. at this point. And then fourth at this World's Tatiana Navka and Roman Kostomarov, a Russian team. So After the season, Bourne and Kraatz and Lobacheva and Aberbukh both retire. Bourne and Kraatz, unfortunately, have a bit of a falling out because Shaylin wants to do show skating and have a pro career. And Victor Kraatz is like, I want to do something else. I'm done with this sport. I want to move on to other things. So they like announce the end of their partnership in 2003. It's literally like a divorce. And they have a falling out and they don't like talk or have a close relationship or communicate for many years after. And they do not skate together professionally. Shaylin starts doing solo skating in shows. She kind of creates this new like genre for herself so she can have a pro career.
She starts solo ice dance.
Solo ice dance, she does.
Okay. She starts traveling with a chair that she literally would check onto airlines. A chair that she would skate with in shows. A specific chair. I am not. She would check.
Really?
Yes, she would check the chair in at the gate. Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, I've seen some of her solo skating, and it's really compelling and entertaining to watch. I mean,
good.
I love it. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Shaylin
really-
is like one of the great artists of the sport. Sport to this time now.
I would say she probably is the most impact on amateur single skating of anybody right now.
Yeah, like she is the best choreographer working with single skaters right now, I think.
But you look at her lineage, she's from the Tarasova Dubova school of cuckoo crazy. So it's,
Yes.
you know, she went to the same artistic school for dance and beautiful pleasure that Marina Zueva went to. In theater.
The theater
Yeah.
choreography Russian
Yeah.
school.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting to note that both Zueva and Shaylin Bourne took all of that and kind of created a new thing with it. Like they've modernized it in a way that's very uniquely theirs. Whereas I feel like some others, like maybe Natalia Linichuk and Natalia Dubova may not necessarily have in the same way.
Totally.
But anyway, so at the end of the 2004 season, the Soviet system has been gone for like well over a decade. Russia is absolutely scraping the bottom of the barrel looking for ice dancers. Like there's a generation gap because
We love
there
to
were
see
many
it.
years. There were many years where there was like nobody kind of being paid by the government to train. Like the government wasn't funding training, wasn't finding skaters. And so Russia has a program, like I mentioned, Alexei Gorshkov. There's a program of skaters that are sort of developing, but there's nobody in this moment to like win worlds. You know, Lobacheva and Aberbukh are done, but you have Navka and Kostomarov in line. And I kind of want to tell you how they got there. So Tatiana Navka was born in Dnepropetrovsk in 1975. So Ukraine, same city as Oksana Bayul. She is 2 years younger than Oksana Grishuk. Remember, Grishuk won 2 Olympics, 94 and 98. So Navka started skating in Ukraine. She was put into ice dance because she was quite tall. And in 1988, when she was 13, Natalia Dubova invited her to Moscow to join her ice dance group. So Navka at 13 goes to train with Dubova. And she is there for all of the drama. She has a front row seat. The dream. She sees the Klimova and Ponomarenko fall out with the favoritism. She sees Grishuk getting kicked out of the camp. She sees, you know, Usova Julin go through their career and their disappointment in Lillehammer. She's there for all of it. Front row seat. So she is paired up with a skater named Samvel Gazalian. He's Armenian. They skate for the Soviet Union. They win 91 Skate America randomly.
Sure.
And then when the Soviet Union ends, they move with Dubova and her whole group, Usova Julin and Dubova.
Wait, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
91 Skate America where Tanya Harding did the triple axel
Yes.
in Minnesota?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Not you pulling that out of nowhere.
Oh my God. I know. I can't. I mean, sorry. Okay. I don't know where that came from in my brain, but keep going.
Yeah. So they skate for the Soviet. Okay, so they all moved to Lake Placid with Dubova in 92 after the fall of the Soviet Union. So Usova Julin, Dubova, and Navka Gazalian and anyone else in their group, they're in Lake Placid. So after the fall of the Soviet Union, Navka and Gazalian start representing Belarus. I don't believe either of them have any ties to Belarus, but that's like the country they chose to skate for. Because in the Soviet Union, there's so many teams, it's like, why not skate for someone else? We can get an assignment. So they go to the 94 Olympics and they finish 11th. They're like in the top 10 at Worlds 3 times. And then in 95, they split. So in 95, Navka leaves Lake Placid and she goes to Simsbury, Connecticut, where Alexander Julin is coaching at the time. And I believe Navka and Julin were in a kind of relationship all this time, like on-off relationship. So she goes to where Julin is to be coached by him. Mm-hmm. And in 96, he teams her up with an ice dancer named Nikolai Morozov. Uh-huh. Yes, that one.
And
they skate together.
Only.
They skate together for 2 seasons representing Belarus. And in a lot of ways, their partnership is cursed. It's not good. So their very first practice at 97 Worlds, Morozov tears his meniscus, goes through the competition with a torn meniscus, has to have surgery after. The next season, they make it to the Olympics. They are competing their free dance at Nagano, and the lights go out in the building. So Navka's in a like spread eagle position, leaning all the way back, and Nikolai Morozov has his like arms under her shoulders, like she's like completely prone. Lights go out. It's not complete darkness, but it's like 3/4 of the lights. And it's like what happened? But they're not even phased. They just like keep on skating. At the end of their free dance, the panel calls them over and is like, "Would you like to repeat your program because the lights went out?" And they're like, "No, it's okay. We're happy with how we skated." I mean, they finished 16th. It's not going to make a difference.
Uh-huh.
Right. They're like, we're good.
But just so you know, like if you're not skating well, your coach should like flip the breaker and you might get to redo your program.
That's a pro tip. Free advice.
Yeah. It's in the coach's manual. If it ain't going well, flip the breaker.
Yeah. First thing you should do when you get to a competition is
find the breaker.
The fuse box.
So the program that Navka Morozov skate in Nagano or in that Olympic season, it's very derivative of Usava Julin. It's like a kind of a Usava Julin kind of watered down-esque program. The other thing about their partnership is that they're very, like I said, they're kind of cursed. Like Navka has a lot of falls in competition when they're skating together. And they're just very like a middle of the pack team. So in 98, after the Olympic season ends, Navka dumps Nikolai Morozov. And she moves down to Delaware to train with Natalia Linichuk. Mm-hmm. And after...
Has she also dumped Julin personally at this point, do we think?
Well, allegedly... So remember in 98, this is when Grishuk and Platov finished their career. Yeah. And they switch up. Platov starts skating with Usava. Julin skates with Grishuk. And allegedly, Grishuk and Julin resume their relationship. So... Okay. Yeah. Navka's out of there. She goes down to Delaware.
Got it.
Just side note, just to wrap it up, Nikolai Morozov at this time is without a partner, and he decides rather than finding a new one and like getting used to them and everything again, he's just going to retire and become a coach. So he is hired by a coach in Simsbury at their rink, Tatiana Tarasova, to become her assistant.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
who he coaches with, eventually breaks up with, goes off on his own with Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kraatz, and marries Shaylin Bourne. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to Navka in Delaware.
Yeah.
Back to Delaware.
Navka goes down to Delaware. And like I said, like Natalia Linichuk is always like, working on stuff, putting teams together. And she has a skater named Roman Kostomarov, who's a world junior champion. And he skates for Russia. So she calls Navka and is like, come down here. I have a partner for you. And Kostomarov does not want to skate with her. He thinks she's too tall. He wants someone who's like livelier and lighter and just petite. And he's younger than Navka, so he's just like, he's not into it. But Linichuk's just trust me, give it a chance. So they team up, they do a season together, and they skate for Russia. So this is the first time that Navka is skating for Russia. And they finish 3rd at nationals and like 12th at Worlds. And after that season, which is so-so, Linichuk is like, okay, I see what you mean, and dissolves the partnership. And she teams Kostomarov up with this smaller skater named Anna Semyonovich. So Navka's without a partner now. She leaves. She goes back to Julin, who was in New Jersey at this time, gets pregnant, gets married, and has a baby in May 2000. So,
with whom?
Julin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She goes back to him.
Okay. I just didn't realize she was going back to him in the personal sense and the professional sense. Okay.
Now, wait, Michelle,
Yes.
does Julian have any kids at this point
No.
shocking?
No.
Okay.
No. So this is the first, well, I mean, you know, when like you're dating professional athletes, they may be prepared to not have children, but Navka has one.
Yeah. Okay.
She has a daughter in May, and she names her after him. The daughter is Sasha Julina, so Alexandra Sasha. And around this time, so Kostomarov, like Navka misses the whole season. Kostomarov is skating with Anna Semyonovich. It's not going well. He calls Navka, I think probably like right before she gave birth, around that time, and he was like, hey, I messed up. Do you want to try skating together again? And she's just like, all right. I don't know what it was about this whole experience, but she came out of this like pregnancy more determined and like more motivated than ever. So 6 days after giving birth, Navka's back on the ice. Kostomarov moves to New Jersey.
Oh, she threw that placenta in a frying pan and she slurped it up with a fucking spoon and said, I'll be in Delaware by noon.
No. She's like, get your ass to New Jersay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she's like, I'm in the middle of eating my placenta. You come to me.
Yeah.
It's
so
too
she's
hot.
she's married to Julian and has a baby with
She's
him at
married
this point.
to Julian.
She marries
they
him.
get married.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
She got pregnant and then she got married.
You
and
always
then she had the baby.
save the best for last.
To be fair, I think she did say they got married and had a
I
baby
did.
earlier.
I think you were just so shocked by the mention of
shocked.
Julian that you...
Yeah, I am shocked.
Yeah. So Navka and Kostomarov team up again, re-team, and they're coached by Julian in Hackensack. So they compete in the 2000-2001 season, and they're like second in nationals, 12th at Worlds. She's 12th at Worlds, 10 months postpartum. Which
Oh my God.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And they just keep
The back on
improving.
the ice after 6 days is going to stay with me. Someone, can we call Alexa Canarum and tell her?
You have 5 days.
Please.
You have 5 days.
You can do this in 5 days.
She could do it.
You have 5 days to respond.
But I think what's interesting about Navka and what I'll get into is that her results up until this point they're kind of middling. I mean, they're good, but as for a Soviet ice dancer trained by Dubova, it's not the best that she's produced.
Mm-hmm.
The best results of her career come after she has a baby. So this team keeps improving.
Again, should we call Alexa Canarum?
The best results of your career could be after you have a baby.
Yeah. I'll tell her.
Okay.
Tell her all about it. Okay, so
we're in
Navka goes to
Hackensack.
Navka Kostomarov go to the 2002 Olympics where they're 10th, then they're 8th at Worlds in 2002, and then at 2003 Worlds they're 4th. And people are starting to kind of really notice them, like, who is this team? They kind of seem like they came out of nowhere, and they've got something like special. There's just something about them that is really engaging. I'll call it charisma. So
I think that's
in
what a
this
lot
era-
of people who speak English would call it. But sure.
Riz. Alexander Julin, like I mentioned a couple years ago when Navka was skating with Morozov, I felt like their programs were kind of like very Usova Julin-esque. Julin's really getting into his groove as like a coach and a choreographer. He's working with this rhythmic gymnast, Tatiana Druchinina, on these programs that he's putting together and like coming up with some really successful, innovative stuff. And I wouldn't say that the programs that he gives Navka and Kostomarov are that complicated, but it's just sort of like becomes a vehicle for their charisma and their very interesting like style that's very different from what has come before. Keep in mind, we're coming out of like the era of the dirge. We had Tanith and Ben doing Elvis, like, but everyone else is just like, it's heavy. So Tatiana Navka's skating improves significantly under this coaching arrangement. She makes a lot of technical improvements. She really like steps into the spotlight on the ice. She's very much like the star of this team and sort of embraces like the spotlight in a way that she had it before. She's, like I mentioned, she's very tall. She has these really long stretched out lines. like lots of rhythm. The way she moves to the music is really engaging. She's almost kind of like a late bloomer. Like she really comes into this style in her late 20s, later in life, when most of her peers would have retired by this point. Kostomarov, on the other hand, is not as strong of a skater as she is. I wouldn't compare him to Margaglio quite, but it's in that level of, or that kind of trend of, that's what their balance is. She's the stronger skater, and he's not that sure on his feet. He's unable to kind of get through really complex choreography. He always looks like he's about to fall. Like he pushes it right to the edge. But he doesn't drop her or anything like Margaglio. Like he's very stable in lifts, but she's running the show. So Navka and Kostomarov, like I said, they're really fun to watch. They're very engaging. They're fourth at 2003 Worlds, and they have a plan. Like they have a plan for Torino for the Olympics. They have a plan for the pre-Olympic season, but for the 03-04 season, they're like, let's do something fun. Why not? So Juliet gives them a Pink Panther, Austin Powers mashup free dance.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a big change from like what we've seen from the teams at the top. The program's like really frothy and silly and playful, and it's like built around their personalities. It's very like perky. Like Kostomarov like gives the judges a thumbs up in a curve lift, and just very campy. It's like really bringing the camp. And they go to Worlds and they win.
Wow.
I was going to say, this becomes like one of their iconic programs.
Yes.
I mean, that they're known for forever.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's such a change because like we've seen like the last 4 Worlds, we had like Bourne and Kraatz were doing heavy Russian stuff. And the year before that, Lobacheva and Aberbukh were doing 9/11. And before that, Fusar-Poli was doing Romeo and Juliet. And before that, Anissina and Peizerat was doing Carmina, Burana.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had like
Right.
heavy. And now we have like Austin Powers and just silliness, and it's very refreshing. And the judges actually find it refreshing and like it. Whereas before they were a little reluctant to like hold down the dirge. They really, this is like goodbye dirge. We are moving on.
Well, and the door was a little bit open, right? Because in 2003, Bourne and Kraatz win, and then they immediately retire.
Yes.
And so
Lobacheva and
As
Aberbukh
does
retire.
Aberbukh. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of, it's open.
Yeah. It's open. And like Belbin and Agosto, I think Navka and Kostomarov do a pretty good job adapting their programs to the new judging system when it comes in 04-05. No one does it as well as Spielbahn. But I think Julian does a respectable job like figuring out how to orient things in a way that scores pretty well. So in 2005 at Worlds in Moscow, Navka and Kostomarov, they skate this program to Tosca. They win, so they win their second world title, and Belbin and Agosto are second behind them. And then in third is a Ukrainian team coached by Nikolai Morozov, Yelena Grishina, and Ruslan Goncharov. And that bronze medal is the most controversial part of this event. I think Navka and Kostomarov are really seen as like, you know, they're the defending world champions. They won. And then Tanith and Ben are so young and talented and like technically strong. It's like them being second is very, it's like accepted. But Grishina Goncharov being third is like not. People don't appreciate it. Grishina Goncharov are a team that have been around a long time. I think they had done 3 Olympics so far. They are very, very slow. And in them, you get Nikolai Morozov's approach to the new judging system. And, you know, he's building them footwork sequences that should get levels, but they are very slow. Like a million miles an hour to a dead stop, and then you're kind of walking through your footwork. But keep in mind at this point, Tanith Belbin does not have U.S. citizenship. Navka and Kostomarov seem like the heavy favorites going into the Olympics, but like people don't think Grishina Goncharov should have been third. The field really feels wide open. Like anybody can get a medal.
Who are the people in the field who people thought should have been third?
Denkova and Stavisky.
Right.
Dubray and Lausanne.
Dubray and Lausanne. Oh my God.
We haven't even touched.
They've entered the
on
timeline.
them.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
More people found in Canada.
Yes.
Oh, and Delabelle and Schoenfeld are another one. They're a French team. They were fourth at 2005 Worlds. As you'll hear, that's a very familiar position for them to be in. But I want to stop right there and take us back to the United States. Another Meanwhile in Michigan segment. Part 4, a lovely and talented girl.
You're looking at me. Hello. Oh my. Okay. A lovely.
No, she's talking to
girl.
her wiener dog in her lap.
I'm talking about Tanith Belbin.
Of course.
Okay.
So Tanith is still not a U.S.
girl.
citizen. She is. So it's 2005. Tanith men have the world's silver medal. They have helped the U.S. earn 3 spots for the Olympics. They are setting all kinds of records. People are so excited about them, but Tanith Belbin does not yet have U.S. citizenship. And she's not expected to get citizenship until 2007. However, in October 2005, Senator Carl Levin of Michigan brought forward a bill that would grant her citizenship in time for the Olympics. So Tanith received her EB-1 visa in November 2000. It's an employment-based visa for aliens of extraordinary ability. And then she received her green card 18 months later in 2002. So also in 2002, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services changed the rules, and they said that EB-1 visa recipients can receive their visa and their green card at the same time. So if Tanith, the policy had been in place when Tanith got her visa, she would have been eligible for citizenship 2 years earlier, like in November 2005 when she got the visa. But because the rules were such as they were, she didn't have the green card long enough to get citizenship. So basically, Levin's bill would correct this discrepancy for Tanith Belbin and for anyone else in her situation with citizenship, and giving them citizenship according to the time their EB-1 visa was issued, not their green card. So this is some hope. This is could potentially happen for this team. Do you remember the team I mentioned that was third at 2004 Nationals?
Yes.
Lauren Galler-Rabinowitz and David Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
So they missed the 04-05 season while David Mitchell had shoulder surgery. They didn't compete at 05 Nationals. They began training with Natalia Dubova in Lake Placid in 2004. So they are a Dubova team now. Like I said, she's always at the scene of the crime. And they were skating with her in Stamford, Connecticut. She had moved to Stamford by then. So NBC's headquarters.
NBC's current headquarters for sports.
And nothing good happens there.
Well, you won an Emmy there, Adam, pretty recently.
You did.
I didn't say it was good. You just said that I won.
Okay, so they're in Stamford, Connecticut, which is honestly very bad omen.
There is some stuff that's bubbling in my head that like you're starting to like dust off ancient relics and texts that I've read and known. I'm fully locked in.
Okay, so immediately after Senator Carl Levin brings this bill, like within a couple days, David Mitchell's mother, Lynn, sends a letter to New York Senator Hillary Clinton asking her to oppose the bill, and also using the opportunity in this letter to brag about her son and his partner. She also forwards this letter to several other U.S. senators. ABC Sports, my alma mater, I don't know how they did it, they get a copy of the letter. They post it on the ESPN website. It is up to this day. And they feature it heavily in their broadcasts.
My God.
Yes.
From the desk of Hillary Rodham Clinton, we came across this letter.
Her emails.
Her emails yet again. The first time. Where was James Comey? ABC. Was he working for ABC?
Yeah, I think so. He would have been. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
My God.
So just have a couple excerpts from the letter for you.
You know, Michelle, I will say, before we started this, I never expected you to say the words Hillary Clinton, because those are words.
New York Senator Hillary Clinton.
Senator Hillary Clinton.
And David Mitchell's family, he's from New York, so that's why they write to Hillary Clinton, because she's their senator.
Yes.
So just have a couple excerpts to read to you from this letter, which is still available on ESPN's website if you would like to look it up. Subject line, all caps, urgent action needed. Dear Senator Clinton, we are writing to you with urgency about a matter that is of extreme importance to us and involves legislation that Senator Carl Levin has introduced and plans to speak about. By supporting and passing this amendment, you could quite possibly be denying an Olympic spot to one of your own constituents, our son. And then they have excerpts from the articles that have come out about this. Although Tanith Belbin is a lovely and talented girl, she is a Canadian citizen who skates with an American partner. And then she describes the efforts that are being made, that Senator Levin is working in cooperation with Tanith's attorney to get this legislation, which was fashioned specifically to fit her, tacked onto an appropriation bill, rushed through in order to get her U.S. citizenship status prior to the end of the year so that she can represent the U.S. at the Olympics. Like,
wait a minute.
duh.
Hold on. Okay, first of all, am I remembering correctly that the U.S. has 3 spots for this Olympics?
Correct.
And what, Lynn is just afraid that her son David can't get top 3 at nationals?
Correct.
Even though he was top 3 at nationals last year.
Well, 2 years before.
So they fell out of the top 3?
No, he had a shoulder injury, so they didn't compete.
Right. Yeah, you said that. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to mention that a U.S. team won Junior Worlds in 2005. And so they're moving up to senior. And that team has a partner in it, Maxim Zavazin, who's Russian. He will also get citizenship via this bill. I don't know if she knew that at this point, but without those 2 teams, Belbin, Agosto, and Matthews and Zavazin, is possible. But like basically, like you're saying your son isn't good enough to get one of the 2 spots.
Yeah,
it's
one of the other 2.
Yeah, one of the other 2.
Yeah, like because there's 3.
Okay. Not to mention the fact that we only have 3 spots because Belbin and Agosto.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right.
And if Belbin and Agosto hadn't been at Worlds, let's just say, like, it's hard to do a hypothetical, but Gregory and Petrikov were 11th. They would have been 10th if Belbin and Agosto weren't there. So then we'd have 2, maybe, but that's hypothetical. You have no idea. Like, who knows?
Yeah, Lynn's fine with Tanith doing the dirty work of getting the spots.
Yeah.
And she'd be fine with Hillary Clinton finishing the dirty work of taking them away.
Yeah. So in this outline, she also outlines in this letter, she also outlines how David and his skating partner, Lauren Galler-Rabinowitz, were both born in this country. They have been competing together, sacrificing much for 8 years. She talks about David, how he managed to earn a political science degree from Tufts in 4 years while training and competing, how they won the U.S. novice title, how Lauren got into Harvard and Yale.
Oh my God, the novice title?
Yeah. They have worked very hard, played by all the established rules for representing the U.S. in international competitions. In our personal opinion, no team where both are U.S.-born citizens should risk not getting an Olympic spot because the rules were bent or changed to help someone who is not currently a citizen. Yeah. And then she says, we'd appreciate anything you could do to try and prevent this. Since Lauren and David train in Connecticut, perhaps you could also enlist the assistance of Senator Lieberman, who has actually met Lauren on several occasions. Like, she just can't resist bragging. Bragging. So anyway,
and it's such an oversimplification of what's happening. Like, Tanith has followed all the rules, and
she has.
The rules have changed since she got here, actually.
Yeah.
And so now they're trying to help her benefit from a rule change that, in theory, she should have been benefiting from.
Yeah.
And this seems totally different than the citizenship path that Gorsha Sir was trying to pursue.
Right. It wasn't like, let's just try to get it at the last minute. Expedited. Right. With like political asylum, it's like she moved, she applied, she got employment.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm mad.
Yeah. I knew you'd be mad about this. And so, and also like, this is like, the Olympics are a sports competition. Like, I know it's like about peace and friendship and whatever, but like, it's a competition. These are athletes.
Peace
like,
and friendship or whatever.
Yeah.
It's about what Hillary Rodham Clinton.
We want our best skaters there. We want to be competitive. Like, we're competing.
Yes.
We're not just getting spots so someone could go on a trip to like the
right,
Olympics like they're going to Disneyland.
Hillary Clinton wants the U.S. to win medals.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And David
so this letter
Mitchell
was circulated.
and his political science degree aren't going to win one.
No.
Hillary's not one to collude an election
No.
to the Olympic team.
Hillary gets colluded against.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so what did she do with this letter?
It gets circulated to people through upstate New York. A Republican representative, James Walsh, he offers an objection to the amendment on the grounds that it might be unfair to American citizens, but he is slapped down, and after further consideration, he backs down and supports the amendment. David Mitchell and Lauren Gallo-Rabinowitz have to respond to this because ESPN's calling them like, we got a copy. What do you have to say? What do you have to say? So at first they play dumb, and David Mitchell's like, I'm not aware of a letter. And I do think it's possible his parents just sent this without even telling him.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
But then later, the team, they release a joint statement, and they say, we are concerned that Lynn Mitchell's letter to Senator Clinton has been viewed by some as a personal attack on Ben and Tanith. It was not and is not. It was no more than an expression of feeling by a loving and supportive parent, something for which no parent should be attacked.
I disagree.
It also irked me that they said personal attack on Ben and Tanith. Like they're putting they're using their first names in alphabetical order and putting Ben first. Tanith is the one who's being attacked here. I mean, Ben is too, but you know.
Yeah,
anyway,
well, it's also, it's
like,
it's unnatural to say it in that order anyway.
Yeah.
You always say, whatever.
Yeah.
Go on.
So
but
anyway,
maybe it's because they mentioned that she's a beautiful young woman in the letter, and they don't mention anything about Ben. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's to make up for that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. They do not mention Ben. December 14th, 2005, the House agrees on the bill. December 21st, the Senate agrees to it by unanimous No objection from any senator.
Hillary was unmoved.
December 28th, the president goes to President Bush for signature. Sorry, the bill goes to President Bush for signature. And on December 31st, 2005, Tanith Belbin becomes a U.S. citizen.
Happy New Year, Mr. President.
Yeah. Goddess bless America.
Wow.
And Maxime Zavazin also becomes a citizen thanks to this bill. Yes.
The world junior champion.
So we get to 2006 Nationals. Belbin and Agosto easily win. They are celebrated. It's like a coronation. It's the coronation of Tanith and Ben. They do a Lenny Kravitz like American Woman exhibition in the gala. Everyone's like, oh my God, we could win the Olympics. And it's, when you think about it, like they were second at Worlds behind Navka and Kostomarov. They are making upward progress. And really, it's like, we're going to have a showdown between these two teams. Like,
What happened to Lang and Chernishev? I feel like we last left them at an Achilles injury two nationals ago.
Yes.
So they stopped after that. Okay.
I actually could do some aftermath on Peter Chernishev. He became a pretty successful choreographer. He did Adelina Sotnikova's programs in the 2014 Olympic season. But anyway, yeah.
Doesn't he also do the Shibutani's Coldplay programs?
I think he works on it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Little Shibutani lore. So Tanith and Ben win nationals. Gregory and Petrikov are second. Matthews and Zavazin have falls in both their original dance and their free dance. And this is a big surprise because it seems like they have the third spot locked down, but they finish fourth. Lauren Gallo-Rabinowitz are ninth. Lauren Gallo-Rabinowitz and David Mitchell are ninth. They finished so low that the entire citizenship process is totally moot. They wouldn't have made the team anyway. And I was at this nationals. I don't even remember.
Deservedly
I can't
ninth?
even really remember, and I did not rewatch them. But I wasn't offended at the time, so I kind of feel like...
Yeah, you'd remember if you were. And I feel like you'd remember if everybody felt like it was some effort to drop them on purpose. Yeah. Like people would remember that. And I've never heard anything about that.
Ice dance had just moved so much, and there'd been so many changes so quickly that it's just like they kind of got lost in the shuffle. Yeah. But you wonder who was third, who got the third Olympic spot, because it was not Matthews and Zavazin. Jamie Silverstein came back this season with a new partner, Ryan O'Meara, because Justin Pekarek had a different partner. He wasn't able to resume their partnership. So she found a new partner, Ryan O'Meara. She went back to Michigan. She trained with Spielbahn and Zueva and was 4th every segment of nationals to the free dance and finished 3rd in the free dance and 3rd overall. And she gets her trip to the Olympics.
Wow. You know, it's so funny. I remember that 2006 nationals being there. And I remember Jamie Silverstein making the team being a huge deal. And I remember a lot of people being like, that's Igor's baby. Like, this is a huge deal. And I'm learning now why it was such a big deal. Wow. What an amazing story.
Yeah. And I think it was really devastating for him because he found this incredible talent. He's building this amazing dance program. He's like totally changing ice dance in the U.S. He finds this amazing talent, Jamie Silverstein, and brings her to such a high level so quickly. And then to have it taken away by, you know, an eating disorder that's like, it's like an insurmountable thing that just they couldn't get past, you know. And so it was a very nice kind of epilogue for her and her skating, that she was able to come back. And she spoke a lot about the difficulties of like being in competitive skating again, but like the tools she had learned in therapy to deal with it. And and she spent 2 years completely off the ice. And then she found her like,
that's
her
cool.
skates with her like rusty blades in her trunk. She's like, I'm going to try this. Yeah. So Silverstein and O'Meara make the Olympic team and they get to compete in Torino. So the Olympic team for the U.S. are Belbin and Agosto, Gregory Pechikov, and Silverstein and O'Meara.
Okay.
And that takes me to the end of part 4.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Is that where we're ending today?
No. I have a segment on Torino if you'd like to carry on.
I mean, the Torino Olympics are about to happen. What's the chapter called?
The Red Wall.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So the Torino Olympics, 2006, everyone comes out of the woodwork. Everyone except Bourne and Kraatz, who are not speaking and not skating with each other. So Drobiazko and Vanagas, the Lithuanians, they come out of retirement and they go to Igor Spielbahn because, like, what is this new system? What's going on? They've never competed under it. So they go to him for guidance, help, etc. Fusar-Poli and Margaglio, the Italians, come out of retirement and they come back to skate in a home Olympics. And they add Natalia Linachuk to their team. And Barbara Fusar-Poli had a baby in between Olympics, so Navka's not the only mom competing here.
Wow.
Yeah. Dankova Stavisky, the 2003 world bronze medalists, they leave, the Bulgarian, they leave Alexei Gorshkov and they go to Linachuk as well. And in 2005, remember Evgeny Platov? He forms a coaching partnership with Alexander Zhulin in New Jersey. So he starts working with Navka Kostomarov, Chetsagnovsky, and all of Zhulin's teams. Platov said, we want to start an ice dancing school that will bring attention all over the world. We are very well known and among the most decorated people in the world because of our winnings in the Olympics and Worlds. We will organize a school, one of the greatest dance schools in the world.
But like Platov and Zhulin were in all that drama together in the 90s. And he's just like, yeah, sure, let's coach together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane to me that like he created so many problems for Evgeny Platov, and now they want to come together. And this is all after this is all after they did the partner swap professionally too.
Correct.
Okay.
And he goes and has a baby with their former training mate, the younger one.
Yeah.
Who he's now coaching.
Who joined their group when she was 13, I have to add.
Okay. I'm glad you added it, and I wish you could take it away.
Okay. So Platov is helping to coach Navka and Kostomarov.
Yes. And Zhulin said he was surprised by how well they worked together. Because he's like, I always work alone. I don't like to collaborate. I like to be responsible for everything. But he tries it out, and it works really well. And Zhulin says, and I feel like this was, very mature and humble. He said, Platov is, after all, one of the best technical skaters in the world. That's why I lost the Olympics to him.
Okay.
Yep. So they have a respectful partnership. They think they're starting this new. They're basically the Spielbahn and Zueva of the East Coast, except with Russian skaters.
Okay.
So there's another coach bringing several teams into Torino, Muriel Boucher-Zazui, the coach of Anissina Peizerat. And she and her coaching assistant, Roman Hagenauer, have 3 teams that qualify for Torino. Yeah, Roman was her coaching. He worked with Anissina and Peizerat.
Could see every time Michelle says a name when Adam and I lift our eyebrows to our foreheads.
Yeah.
And drop our jaws.
So Roman Hagenauer was an ice dancer in France, and he left his competitive career when he was pretty young and started coaching and working with Zazui. He worked with Anissina and Peizerat as well, but by Torino, he's like the main coaching assistant with Zazui, and they are together like with their teams. 2 of their teams have medal potential.
Zazui's main claim to fame is Anissina and Peizerat, right?
Anissina, yes.
That was a test, and you passed. So okay, but she didn't coach. She didn't coach anybody else high profile. It was just them.
No. Yeah, not that I know of. I mean, I think she probably had other low-level teams internationally, but Anissina
but
Peizerat
that's what she's
her.
known for. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So one of the medal contenders she has are Marie-France Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon. They are a Canadian team. They're very elegant. They have stunning lifts and this beautiful romantic connection on the ice. And they are a team that was sort of in the shadow of Bourne and Kraatz for a long time. And they left Canada to train in Lyon, France, because they can't find the coaching they want in Canada. They skate with this beautiful, like, storytelling style. And this season, in the Olympic season, they have a free dance to the movie Somewhere in Time. And it's very magical and romantic. It's lovely. And they won the bronze at the Grand Prix final in 2005. So they could get on the podium in Torino. They're definitely in the mix. The other team that she has is Isabelle Delabelle and Olivier Schoenfelder. They are a very innovative, technically strong French team that is always on the outside of the medals. They are forever 4th. They were 4th at 2005 Worlds. They're really good. I feel like there was a big hangover from Salt Lake City in terms of French politics. Like the French Federation got really put in the doghouse over their pairs judge speaking out about being pressured to make a vote. And I feel like Delabelle and Schoenfelder are some of the French skaters that sort of paid the price in that, like, you're not getting anything because, like, politically your country is, you're out,
Got it.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. But they're a really talented team, and it seems like logical, like they could make it to the podium. And we have a new system, right? So anything can happen. The third team that Zazui has in Torino is Natalie Péchelat and Fabien Borzat, and they're a young French team.
Wow, that is quite the trio.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I want to say Zazui, she is really good at taking teams that have a unique style and helping them really develop that style in a way that's theirs. Her teams all look quite different. They don't start to resemble each other. She's really good at, like, packaging them as individuals, because Delabelle and Schoenfelder and Dubreuil and Lauzon are very different teams. They really have contrasting styles and yet, train together relatively amicably. So 2006 Europeans, right before the Olympics, are held in Lyon, which is where Zazui trains all these teams. There's a big surprise in the compulsory dance. Grushina and Goncharov, Nikolai Morozov's team, win the compulsory dance. Drobiazko and Vanegas are second, and Navka Kostomarov are third. It's like, what's going on?
What?
Yeah. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. No one is more surprised than Navka and Kostomarov. They're like, what is going on? They do skate well in the next 2 portions. They win the next 2 portions of the event, and they win the European title, but it spooks them. So they go home and they train really intensely before Torino.
Okay.
Delabelle and Schoenfelder, just, of course, they're 4th in the compulsory dance at Europeans, 2nd in the original dance, 3rd in the free dance, but 4th overall.
Yeah, of course.
They're always 4th. But at Europeans, so Grushina and Goncharov are 2nd, and Drobiazko Vanegas are 3rd, and there is less than a point between them. They are really, really tight. So it's like the race is on for the Olympic bronze medal. Both of the teams that went to Natalia Linachuk miss Europeans. Fusar-Poli and Margaglio, and Denko Vistavitsky. They do not even go to this event.
Okay, so there's kind of like there's like weird scoring and judging happening at Europeans plus 2 key teams missing. So
Correct.
it really feels like it could be a free for all when you get to Torino.
Yes, doors are wide open. So the Torino figure skating event is held in a venue called the Palavella. It's a beautiful arena, and it has a flaming red wall all along the side. The walls are red, and there is a giant red, like, bulky corner that comes out over the ice, and it just, like, sticks out really far. And anywhere in the rink, you can see it. And it says, like, "Passion lives here" on the side, and it has the Olympic rings. And
Passion lives here.
It's beautiful, but it seems over the course of this event seems to become a bit ominous. Just the bright red looming there. So the compulsory dance is the Ravensburger Waltz. Fusar-Poli and Margaglio. Now, I want to say for Fusar-Poli and Margaglio, I don't know how seriously they took their comeback because they did not compete at all other than going to nationals. They show up in Torino having never competed under the new judging system, having never competed their programs before an international panel, exclusively nationals, then Olympics.
Yeah, so like no tech minimums required, clearly.
No.
Yeah.
They just showed up. So they go out, they draw pretty late. They're not last, but they're like very close to the end of the compulsory dance. And it's complete free draw. So people are they can skate wherever. But they skate after most of the medal contenders. They skate pretty well. They get their scores. Fusar-Poli and Margaglio are in first place. Ahead of Navka and Kostomarov. Barbara cries in the kiss and cry. They win the segment.
We do love Italian cooking on this podcast.
Yeah, we do.
I
And
remember this happening, and I remember being like, Barbara gets revenge. It's happening. The tides are turning. Passion does live here.
yeah. And it's interesting, too, because
I
Barbara...
love that we're like, she needs to get revenge for winning a Olympic bronze medal with a fall.
Yeah.
Like, you got handed a bronze medal.
And her blade getting caught in her skirt in the original dance. So
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right. She's getting revenge on herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so after winning the compulsory dance, like they're dead serious. Like, we are going to win the Olympics. Yeah, we're here. We meant to do this. We're here. I don't really know what the plan was not competing,
back.
but yeah, like we're here to win. So they win the compulsory dance overall. Navka and Kostomarov are second. Denkova Stavitsky are in third, the Bulgarians, and Belbin and Agosto are in sixth. But this is expected because Belbin and Agosto are much stronger in the original dance and free dance. They're not a compulsory dance team, and this is like what happened at Worlds last year. They were like low in the compulsory standing, and then their other scores bring them up.
Okay.
And in this cycle, there's only one compulsory dance, so there's not two. So it's not it's just a third of your score. So then we get to the original dance, and the original dance this season is a Latin combination theme. Latin combination theme. So it's like cha-cha, rumba, samba, you put the rhythms together. And a lot of these programs have the same structure. It's fast, slow, fast. And all the programs, they have this very slow, like elegant rumba section in the middle, and then they get really fast at the end, just powering through it. So pretty early in the event, the French team I mentioned, Peizerat and Peizerat, they have kind of awkward midline step sequence. They're a little bit off, and Natalie Peizerat takes a really hard fall forward, I think on a counter. And the crowd is like, ooh, like it's just kind of like a surprise. Because in dance, you don't really see a ton of that, although you did see some of it in Salt Lake City. Then in the third group, Drobiazko Vanagas come out, and they're, like I said, audience favorites. People are so excited to see them. And it was really interesting watching them skate this because they're like a very different team than they were under the old system. They have had like the Spielbahn makeover, like full, complete skating redone. Like everything is different. They're really focusing on their tech, and you can tell they've been trained to really like hit these edges cleanly, hit this part, trained on like the flow in and out of their elements. And it's interesting to see like a team that's been around. This is their 5th Olympics, by the way. This is the 5th. No ice dancer has done 5 Olympics other than them, and Evan Bates will next year, hopefully. So, yeah. Sorry, I want to jinx
give
it
you
by
an
saying
idea.
Definitively. Yeah.
This is the original Outlives account.
Truly. So they're skating pretty well. They get into the last third of their program, and Margarita Drobiazko trips just skating forward and falls and brings Povielas Vanegas down with her. And they just have this very sudden, surprising fall. And like the crowd is shocked. They're shocked. It was like, what just happened? That is a big surprise. And it's kind of devastating because, I mean, while they were in 8th after the compulsory dance, they were definitely like medal contenders. And it seems like it's over for them.
Mm-hmm.
Later in that group, Dankova Stavisky skate. Remember, they're in 3rd. And Max Stavisky, he makes this really bizarre mistake on the dance spin where he like, he does this really difficult entrance where he like swings into it with his leg, but then rather going into like a shoot the duck position, he kind of bends his knee backwards. So he's got like his leg extended out. He messes that up and he puts his foot down right on the entrance to the spin. And under this iteration of the scoring system, I don't think you ever like fully lost credit for an element. If you didn't like the criteria to meet a level 1 was like just doing the element. So they get a level 1 on it, but that's pretty calamitous. Like you were in contention for the podium. You've basically lost an element. It seems like a medal hope is gone. And then we get to the final warm-up group. And this warm-up is incredibly...
As though that wasn't enough.
Yeah. This warm-up is incredibly tense. I mean, it was just like, I know what happens, and still watching it, I'm like, this is just... They were just really... So Fusar-Poli Margaglio, Navka Kostomarov, Belbin, and Agosto are all in this warm-up. And it feels weird. There's a vibe in the air that is uncomfortable. And you can even see it when the skaters, when they're getting off the ice.
The curse of Margaglio.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was. So first up to skate in this last group are Dubreuil and Lausanne. And they have a different style program than pretty much everyone else. They're skating to like a Latin version of Ne quitte pas. It's unique. This I love about Muriel Zuzwi. Her teams always have these very interesting programs that like distinguish them from everyone else. And they skated really, really well until the last few seconds. And also I'd like to say maybe Canadian curse. They're in the very last lift of their program, which is a rotational lift, very fast. And they're, Patrice is holding Marie-France in a way like he has her like kind of she's behind him and she's holding onto his arm and she's like fully horizontal to the ice. And her costume like got caught in their hold. And when the skirt like pulled loose, their connection breaks. And they're moving so fast, there's like a lot of torque. And Marie-France just like goes flying and lands super hard on her hip. I mean, like smacks the ice, like a car accident fall. And Patrice like loses his balance too and falls. This is shocking. It's just like so sudden and out of nowhere. And it's so like violent. And immediately you can see that Marie-France is really, really injured. Like they get up and they finish the program, but she cannot stand up straight. Like she is just in so much pain. She can't bow. She can't lift her leg up off the ice. She's just so uncomfortable. So Patrice like walks her off the ice and it's like shocking. Like what just happened? It's just really, and this is like they were skating so well and it was so out of nowhere. And you can see that Patrice is really shaken up too. Like he feels guilty. Like he dropped her, you know? He has to carry...
Right, because they're already romantically involved too, right?
I think they were even married at this point, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has to carry her to the kiss and cry. And even in the kiss and cry, you can see she's really in a lot of pain. We think like she may have like really hurt herself. Their medal chances are gone. I mean, their score isn't great.
Right.
And it's very sad. So then an Italian team is up, the like second place Italian team, Federica Fiala and Massimo Scali. We know Massimo Scali now is a very successful choreographer to Alyssa Liu and the Shibutanis and many others. And they're not really in medal contention, but they're very much like a top 10 team. They're wearing bumblebee yellow, like full yellow costumes. They are so yellow. And like many of the teams thus far, the first 2/3 of their program are great. They start accelerating into the third section of the program. Fiala loses her footing in the diagonal steps, and she falls backwards and pulls Massimo Scali down on top of her. And I mean, it is just like yellow all over the ice. They just like completely out of it, full out fall.
Red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow, is what they do say in the reptile world. And it echoes here in the Torino original dance.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but you're right.
It means it's a poisonous snake. If red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow. If red touches black, you're okay, Jack.
Oh, interesting. I should know that because I'm from Texas. I did not.
The Italians didn't know it either.
Yeah. So Failla and Scally have such a hard time getting back into their program that they end up getting not only 2 fall deductions, but a deduction for interruption in excess because they don't even do any more of their footwork sequence. And Massimo Scally gets up and walks out of the kiss and cry when their tech score comes up. He's so disgusted. So then Navka and Kostomarov take the ice. Literally here to skate for their Olympic title after 2 teams have 2 insane falls with both partners falling.
Plus there's been 3 other high-profile falls on the day.
Yes. Yeah. The energy is crazy. And it's also kind of spooky because, like, after Failla and Scally get off the ice, like, Navka and Kostomarov get on the ice to start stroking around before they skate. And the Jumbotron is showing these replays of Failla and Scally's, like, horrible fall from multiple angles. And you hear the crowd reacting to it, but then you also hear the Russians in the crowd chanting, Russia, Russia. It's high stress. And you can see it on Navka and Kostomarov's faces, like, when they're going to skate, like, you could cut the tension in the building with a knife. They just look sick. But credit to them, they turn it on. And they have the craziest original dance, and they, like, sell the shit out of it. And I have to tell you about their costumes, or at least Navka's costume, because this is just, like, so campy. I mean, she's going out there to skate after this absolute chaos event. And she is in basically, you know those bikinis that are, it's like a bikini but with, like, a connection in the middle? She's in that.
Yes.
It's blue leopard print. She has a blue leopard print headband across her forehead. And then she has this huge...
This is, by the way, how I picture her.
It's very
with
like
the headband.
Kylie showgirl, like Kylie Minogue showgirl, like just, and a huge blue feather poof on her butt. Huge. And their program is so campy. And it's like all this really goofy Latin music, and they're trying to do it. But they're really tight. Like, it's so cautious. Like, the first 2/3, they are holding on for dear life. Tracy Wilson says it's like they're going through a minefield. By the time they get this, like, right before the last third, there's this, like, really silly choreography where they do this, like, thing with their fists in a circle, and the music gets really, like, you know, fun. They relax, and they finish the program strong. And the relief is, like, immense. It's just like, oh, my God, we got through it. They got through it. It's okay. They didn't fall. They go into the lead. Then the leaders from the compulsory dance take the ice. Barbara Fusar-Poli and Maurizio Margaglio.
I don't have a good feeling.
Well,
I have a memory.
I want to say credit to Natalia Linichuk. They actually skated really well this program. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from them because, like, we hadn't seen them. But, like, and this is, like, a new system. I think for them, like, Margaglio is kind of out of gas by the end of the midline steps, but they get through this program really well. And it's building toward the end. And I feel like you can feel the relief in them as they're skating. And they're like the excitement, like, we're really doing this. We're, like, really skating well. And at the very end of the program, Margaglio picks Barbara Fusar-Poli up for the very last element, which is a rotational lift. And he picks her up without stabilizing. I would like to hear a male ice dancer talk about, like, what you're supposed to do when you pick a girl up for, you know, for the entrance to a lift. Whatever it is, he didn't do it. He picks her up, and they are immediately wildly spinning out of control. Just wildly out of control. And it's like, it takes so long for them to fall because he's, like, rotating, and they are just, like, back and forth, like on a ship that is just, like, in choppy sea. And then finally, the two of them just wipe out onto the ice. Barbara,
capsize.
Capsize. Barbara breaks the fall with her hand, but they both go down. And then they have to jump up and immediately, like, finish the program.
And then what happens, Michelle?
It's like everyone is shocked. They're shocked. And
Time stops.
Time stops. And Barbara gets up, and she finishes the program, and she turns around and looks at him, and is like, what the fuck?
If she had a gun.
Yeah. If she had a gun, he would have been a dead man. And it's like, I think, you know, for all of his weaknesses, they always had a very strong team feeling together. They always worked really well together. But she turns around and she looks at him and he just looks back at her, and they stare at each other for like a full like 20 seconds. And he's just like keeps looking away and looking back, and he keeps trying to hold eye contact with her, but she is staring a hole into this man's soul. Like, I cannot believe you did this to us again.
He'll never be the same.
No.
He'll never be the same.
No.
Michelle, if they skated this program cleanly, do you think that there's like a world in which they would have gone into first?
They were already in first.
Yeah.
In the compulsory, right?
I think they probably would have been second. Well, maybe they might have been first. They might have stayed in first. I think they absolutely would have gotten the bronze medal in the end at this. If they had done all their programs well, I think they would have. The crowd and the judges were really behind them. And I was impressed by how well they skated up to this point. And watching it again recently, I mean, after watching them in 2002 and then watching them again in 2006, I mean, for a team that's been gone for 4 years and like she had a baby, they looked good.
Wow.
Yeah, I really think he lost a medal for them. Probably wouldn't have been gold, but yeah. So they go to the kiss and cry, and Barbara has her face in her hands. She is absolutely devastated. And in Salt Lake City, in the free dance, after Maurizio fell, when they were in the kiss and cry and the marks are coming up, Barbara reaches over and she took Maurizio Margaglio's hand and held his hand for the scores. Like, we're still a team. But in Torino, she doesn't take his hand. She is just
she's
done.
He's on his own.
No, she's going, I'm on a team with my child,
Yeah.
who I left at home to come here before you fucking dropped me.
Yeah. And they go into like 6th or 7th place. Like, it's over. Devastating. Meanwhile, the Americans,
the red wall.
Yeah. And so, like, meanwhile, the Americans were, like, waiting to get on the ice. Because, like, when the other team finishes, they bow. The next team that's up to skate. So Tanith and Ben are there at the boards, like, when the fall happens. I don't know if they see it, but they're, like, ready to get on the ice as soon as Fusar-Poli and Margaglio bow and get off. And I remember Tanith saying later, she's like, I was waiting, like, why are they still on the ice? Like, she didn't really realize the intricacies of what was going on with the stare down. But, like, the timing was off. Like, we need to get on the ice. Anyway, Tanith, Belbin, and Ben Agosto get on the ice, and they just, it doesn't touch them. They are in their bubble. They are in the zone. They go out and skate one of the best original dances they've ever done. They sell this program. I mean, like, they take the ice to, like, wild gasps and boos as the Italian scores are coming up, and they're unfazed by it. They go out and skate so well. I mean, honestly, I think you make an argument that they should have won this segment. They're awesome. And they put their midline step sequence as the second to last element, which most teams do first because it's so hard, and they have it buried in the program. It's in the fast section, and they're skating to Let's Get Loud by J-Lo. And it, like,
yeah, they are.
This super traumatized arena. Everyone is just like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. It was brilliant. And I mean, it was a very star-making moment for Tanith and Ben. And
a lovely and talented girl.
She was a lovely and talented girl. And they go into second place. So after the original dance, the standings are Navka Kostomarov, Belbin Agosto, Grushina Goncharov of Ukraine, Delabel Schoenfelder in fourth place.
Of course.
And Dubreuil Lazan, Fusar-Poli Margaglio, Danko Stavitsky, they're out of it.
They're all in the ER.
Yeah. Danko Stavitsky were in fifth, so like they might have had an opportunity, but yeah.
And Peizerat and Borzat also fell, but like they weren't real medal contenders for this Olympics.
They were so early.
Yeah.
But that was the first fall, and so this, like, these wild falls, this becomes like the story of the games. On the New York Times the next day, this is on the front page, and they have pictures of all of the falls, and Natalie Peizerat is on the cover of the New York Times, falling. Yeah, but
right.
It's like, and people, this really gets people talking about like the new system. Like, this is crazy. People under this new system, like, they're trying to do it, but it's really taking people out. And then you really see the movement because of falls and mistakes. So the next day is the free dance. Patrice Lauzon practices alone. Marie-France, does not skate with him. She's in treatment for her hip. And as he gets off the ice for practice, he touches the Olympic rings. And then the team withdraws. And I think they always knew they were going to withdraw, but he went and did that practice so he could touch the rings for her.
Is that their last Olympics?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I feel like they'll figure it out.
yeah. So
I will have to stay tuned, I guess. But yes.
So Dankovic and Stavisky, they skate pretty well. We'll get to the free dance. Dankovic and Stavisky, oh my God. Getting to the free dance, Dankovic and Stavisky, Bulgarians, they skate really well. They are hit with multiple extended lift deductions. And they're just like, what the fuck? I think they get 2 points they lose just on extended lifts. And it's very much the panel being like, you're not getting a medal. Bye. Who knows why, but, you know. Grishina and Goncharov, they do performance to The Feeling Begins that is so derivative of Grishuk and Platov. It's just like, again, I don't want to be mean, but it's very like dollar store Grishuk and Platov. And again, their step sequences are so incredibly slow. And like, this is the harshest I've ever heard Tracy Wilson be in commentating on anyone. And she's just like, this is so slow. And you just like, you wonder like how they're scoring what they are. And some people don't think that this is right. But Grishina and Goncharov are able to finish third overall. They hang on to third place and they win the bronze medal. Belbin and Agosto have a flamenco.
Well, maybe if everyone didn't fall, then the slow team wouldn't be getting third.
Well, we'll get to that.
From your words to God's ear. From your words to God's ear. The famous line. I'm still traumatized from the original dance.
Well,
I know.
we will get to who should have been third. But the silver medalists are Belbin and Agosto, who skate. They have a flamenco free dance. And a lot of people thought they should be challenging Navka and Kostomarov. But they make some mistakes in the second half. It's like they don't skate it as well as they skated the original dance. And they're fourth in the segment.
And like politically,
yeah,
it's just not time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. It's a very, really, I think they had the most difficult free dance of anybody here. It's very technically complex. And yeah, they get a medal. Navka and Kostomarov, they skate to Carmen this year. And they get a lot of criticism for this program because it is not Carmen. It is like Navka smiling with a blonde ponytail, just selling Kylie Showgirl out there. And their free dance is, I mean, Kostomarov has a lot of balance checks. Like you really see in this program, like in the original dance, the weaknesses in his skating. There are a couple times where he comes very close to falling, but doesn't. They get through it. They go into the lead. The team that drew to skate last, that was in fourth after the original dance, is Isabel Delabelle and Olivier Schoenfelder. I haven't really mentioned them yet. They skated exceptionally well in each segment of this competition. They had a great original dance. They were really good in the compulsory dance. And they're not a team that's necessarily known for skating really well in high-pressure situations, but they absolutely deliver at this event. They have this really cool free dance that's like Venetian carnival themed, and they have masks on their gloves, so they do like different faces. And their free dance builds and builds and builds, and it is great. And you end, like the original dance, you end the free dance on a really high note with the crowd totally engaged, amazing skating. And then they get their scores, and they are second in the free dance and fourth overall.
Oh
Brutal.
my God, that's brutal.
Yeah,
So they should have been third.
they should have at least been third. Yeah, I'm very triggered by this. Still watching it again, I was just like, this is an injustice. I couldn't, it's like after all this upheaval, the new scoring system, everything, all these people falling, and you do have movement in the standings. You have people falling everywhere. You have people like Spielbahn who can guide their teams to the podium, but you still have great skaters like this that are shut out because of some political reason. And while doing some research on this, I found a skating blog that had a whole like essay on Nikolai Morozov and his coaching. And I found this segment on Grishina and Goncharov's free dance. It's incredibly mean, but I want to read it to you because it's hilarious. So,
Okay.
some
Please.
random fan on Blogspot. Remember when people had blogs back in the day?
Yes.
Mr. Morozov was able to coach Grishina Goncharov to an Olympic bronze against all logic and sense. So I guess that in itself is rather impressive. But having your own students skate a sad ripoff of Grishuk Platov's iconic The Feeling Begins while wearing nipple tassels in front of the entire world at the Olympics is a decision so deficient in taste, reason, and judgment that winning an Olympic medal is almost beside the point. She was wearing nipple tassels, which I didn't mention, but yeah, she had like bedazzled boobs.
It was just a different kind of feeling.
It was the feeling, yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of want to talk about a little thing here. Was this thing that came up after this Olympics was like a placeholder theory, and the idea that Navka Kostomarov were really insulated from having to compete with these teams below them that might have otherwise been competitive with them, because you had this young upsurgent team, Belbin and Agosto, who no one could deny deserved to be on the podium because they were amazing. And then you had the very slow Grusina Goncharov below them. So the podium at Worlds in 2005 and Olympics in 2006 was the same. And so like the conversation is like, oh, Navka and Kostomarov have been around longer. They should be ahead of Belbin and Agosto. But then everyone below Grusina Goncharov, it's like we're arguing that they should have the bronze. We don't really think about the teams that were above them because it's like they're insulated.
Right.
Never confirmed or anything. That was just a discussion in the dance community at the time. So anyway, Canada, once again, very bad luck at an Olympics. This is the third Olympics in a row where they had a team that was in podium contention and missed a medal.
This is a lot like the Canadian men.
Yeah, which is why in going to the next Olympics in Vancouver in Canada, it was like, I think there was a lot of hope for a Canadian medal or win, but I think people were almost afraid to wish for it.
Yes.
So after Torino, Worlds are in Calgary in Canada. Dubreuil-Lazan skate there, and they skate really well. They finally get to do their beautiful Somewhere in Time program. They get a huge reaction to it. They win the silver medal, and it's their first world medal. Dankova and Stavisky skate really well. They're skating to Adagio. It's full of like Stavisky's like flourishes. He's just like a super standout skater. And Belbin and Agosto are third. Drobiazko, Vanagasco, they don't get a medal again. They're fourth. So after that Olympic cycle ended, the Russian Federation looked at its...
This is the Russian epilogue you promised.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I want to say one more thing before I start the Russian epilogue that I forgot about.
Please.
So Navka and Kostomarov win in Torino, and it is the return of Russia to the top of the ice dance podium at the Olympics. We had a year where France won, but Russia's back. Navka is the oldest female Olympic champion in ice dance ever. That record stands to this day. She is 30 years and 313 days old when she wins. The oldest man to ever win is actually Sergei Ponomarenko. He was 31 when he won in 92.
Wow.
Yeah. And so looking to Milan, that record is going to be broken unless like Fear Gibson or Lajoie Laga win, because every single team that I would say that's in medal contention or contention for the gold is already older than both of them were when they won. Whoa. 4 teams.
Times have changed.
Age 32 or older. Yeah.
Wow.
And so Navka and Kostomarov win in Torino, and that is the last time Russia stands on the top of the Olympic dance podium till who knows how long. It's going to be more than 20 years because they don't have a team in Milan. So
Right. Wow. End of an era.
Yeah, and that takes me to just a quick part 6 Russian epilogue, what happens after Torino. So Russia sees basically all of this development and all of these skaters with Russian coaches at the Olympics. And they say, you know what? These are our skaters. These are our coaches. We want you guys to come back. And it's been a long time since the Soviet Union. The Russian Skating Federation has gotten some funding. The government's worked itself out. There's some money. So the Russian Federation invites its athletes and coaches to come back to the motherland, offers them coaching jobs, support, and pretty soon TV show opportunities. So Navka, Kostomarov, and Julin, they go back in 2006. And Channel 1 in Russia, which is basically like the BBC, it's like a government-funded channel. It's now kind of become a tool for fascism, but at the time, you know, they're coming up with entertainment
Who
programming.
among us?
But at the time, they're doing ice shows.
Yeah. They start developing these Skating with the Stars type shows. They start one called Stars on Ice. And
The ice show to fascism pipeline.
So, like, everyone goes on this. Navka goes on it, Julin, Kostomarov, and a bunch of them. They start, like, because it becomes this need for, like, we need Russian skaters and choreographers and judges. So Navka wins the first season of this Stars on Ice show, and then they pivot into this different format called Ice Age. And this is the brainchild of Ilya Aberbukh. So it's still like Skating with the Stars, but it's like becomes branded as like Ice Age. And there's a tour to support it. There's this weekly TV show, and you have Russian celebrities skating with a lot of Olympic champions because they have like really accomplished skaters that go on this show. And this show is huge. Huge. It becomes like American Idol in its heyday popular in Russia. Everybody is watching it. And this is a huge draw for the Russians that are in the US because it's like, if I go home, I get a coaching job, I get ice time, I get a salary, and I get to go on a TV show and be like,
famous.
Famous. Yeah. And make a ton of money and then go like do skating tours. And the show has all like a lot of choreography opportunities and it's fun. So one by one, these skaters all go back. Evgeny Platov does not go back. He stays in New Jersey. His coaching partnership with Juliet ends. They had one good year, and then it was over. But, like, eventually...
Sometimes that's all you get.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all you need. Am I right?
So, like, Dankova, Stavisky, Klimova, Ponomarenko, Drobiazko, Vanegas, and, like, single skaters like Alexei Yagudin, Slutskaya, Gordieva, Tarasova, they all start doing these shows. Anissina goes on it. She ends up marrying her partner. Lobacheva goes on it. It's just huge. And there are spin-offs. There's like other channels start these shows. And then they start like dancing shows where you have like a skater and a ballerina doing like modern dance off the ice. And just, it becomes this huge financial opportunity for skaters that they used to have in the US, but has really not carried over into this decade. And in Russia, it's just like this huge industry sprouts up. So Navka and Juliet, they get divorced. They finalize their divorce in July 2010. But they seem to have like a very good co-parenting relationship. They're still very supportive of each other. It's not messy.
Okay.
It's like a healthy divorce, conscious uncoupling. However, they do not... They still own property in the U.S. together, and they continue paying taxes in the U.S. as a married couple until 2013, which comes to light a couple years later when Tatiana Navka is named in the Panama Papers, which is a bunch of offshore money that is exposed. A number of celebrities are hiding money offshore, and Tatiana Navka is included in there. She comes to... pretty serious attention at an international level outside of skating because she marries in 2015 Dmitry Peskov, who is the press secretary to President Putin, President Vladimir Putin, president of the Russian Federation. She also has a daughter with him. They have a wedding in Sochi. I remember seeing pictures from it. And you know how like American weddings, there's like a photo shoot thing where you put on like silly hats and stuff? They had a photo shoot.
Oh, yeah,
with,
like a photo booth.
Yeah. Photo booth. They had like their booth had like aviator sunglasses and machine guns. It was
it's so lighthearted.
It was. Very, very Russian. They're still married. They seem very happy, but Navka is like constantly dragged into political drama. She was on the list of Russians banned from the US in 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine. Yeah, and she has become, I mean, she went from being someone like working in TV. I didn't work in skating in the era when she was competing, but she and Juliet were so accessible to ESPN. I mean, like the people I worked with shot with them all the time. They were their friends. They went to their house. They let them like film with them and their child. They were our buddies. They were great. And they did this sea change once they were back in Russia where they started becoming really... I don't know, proponents of hate. I mean, Navka in particular she's attacked some people. She attacked a male rhythmic gymnast and is really kind of pushing this like government messaging about like, you know, sexism and anti-Russian bias. And it's kind of sad.
It's really interesting though. Like it is fascinating to have such a like a warm embrace of like Western American culture and then to move back and to revert back to a different way of thinking. How about that? To revert into the Panama banking system.
Yeah. I think also like the ascent to fame had an aspect of this. Like they became really famous and it's like I don't know, there was just sort of this embrace by the Russian government and promotion of them that this sort of became their new ideology. They got sucked into the system. I remember working 2007 Cup of Russia. I don't know if it was Rostelecom yet, in Moscow. And Navka and Kostomarov were there watching. And there was some confusion, like, in the crowd, like, why aren't they competing? Like, people were really into this pro skating thing, and they weren't even really that familiar with the amateur competition scene at the time, just, you know, because of this TV show. Yeah, so tons of skaters. Oh, Chernyshев is on this show. Just tons of people go through it. Anissina married her partner, Nikita Jigurda. He was her partner on the skating show. And he's a singer and actor, and he looks like a pirate. I mean, he's this giant Ukrainian guy with this really gravelly voice, completely blown out voice. He looks like he's very like Rasputin. They have 2 very cute kids. They split their time between France and Russia. But one important aspect of ice dance lore is if you are following her and following her online at this time, Jigurda makes videos, very bizarre videos. And one that's, you know, you can see on her Instagram, she posts it every couple of years, is the birth video that he filmed for their son. And it is the most disturbing, bizarre thing. And, you know, he's like playing the guitar in the delivery room, and she's filming him like from the table. It's a lot. They show the baby, they show everything. And, you know, it's just like, look at our family
This is
video.
where French culture meets Ukrainian artist.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So that's a fun detail.
The video. I forgot about the video.
Yeah. I wish I could forget. But, you know, I still follow her on Instagram. I get to see it every once in a while. Alexander Julin was on some of these Stars on Ice shows or Ice Age shows at first, and then he transitions into a choreographer role. So he and Ilya Aberbukh are putting together original choreography for all these shows, for these giant tours that the show does. And Julin, meanwhile, is also coaching in Russia. So he basically starts coaching students there and develops a pretty strong program. And really going into the next like couple decades is one of the top dance coaches in Russia. I think right now he's probably the top one. Yeah. And in addition to like the TV show and the tours for the TV show, a lot of these skaters sort of start their own industry. So you have like Tatiana Navka, Evgeny Plushenko, Eteri Jutbaridze. They start going on their own like branded tours and having their own like branded skating shows. And Navka is one where she has these big themed skating shows. And Drobiazko and Vanagas, who have been back in Russia since 2006 as well, and doing all these shows, they skate in all these shows all the time. And so in 2022, Navka has a show, and Drobiazko and Vanagas participate in it. And it is partly paid for with a grant from the Russian government. And Lithuania, at this point, keep in mind, Russia has invaded Ukraine. There are sanctions on Russia. Lithuania is like, hang on. Wait, you're a citizen of Lithuania, to Drobiazko. We gave you citizenship to represent us, and you're in this show. They don't do anything to Vanagas because he's like native Lithuanian, but the Lithuanian government like signed an order and stripped Drobiazko of her Lithuanian citizenship for participating in this.
Damn.
So, yeah, because Lithuania is on the outside of the conflict. Yeah, they're on the Ukrainian side. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah.
And then, sorry, not to do this, but Kostomarov has kind of a tough last few years as well.
I didn't mention Kostomarov because he marries an ice dancer named Oksana Domnina, who will figure prominently in the next installment of this podcast series.
Okay. And, but he's done skating at this point.
Yes.
He's done competing.
He's done. Yeah. He does all the pro shows. And he's really into like physical fitness. He is like just really, really into it. Constantly like posting videos about working out and participating in like races and all this stuff. And so he and Domnina are married. They have 2 little kids. I wouldn't say little because they're both very tall. Their kids are tall and
young.
They have beautiful tall children. Yeah, young children. So I think it was 2 years ago, he was doing outdoor skating shows in Red Square over the holidays. And Russia, it's a lot colder than in the US in the winter. I mean, it's like shocking. It's like below 20 outside, and they're doing outdoor skating shows, and he's doing these, and he gets the flu. Like, he gets really sick. And he's trying these like Russian folk remedy methods of burning the flu out of his body. And he's doing cold plunges into the sauna, cold plunge into the sauna. And like cold plunge, it's not like a cold plunge tank. Like he's literally jumping into a hole in the ice, into like freezing water. It kind of sends his body into shock. He collapses. He goes to the hospital and he's an organ failure. And the doctors have to put him on ECMO to save his life. So the ECMO machine, it basically breathes for you. I'm not a doctor or anything, but it's like what I've read. It like keeps your body alive. It keeps your circulation going. And they save his life. And he comes out of this like mentally normal. He's in a coma for several weeks, but he recovers from it. However, the circulation in his body is limited by the ECMO. It doesn't go to the extremities very well. And so he has to have amputations of both hands and both feet. He loses his arms below the elbow and his legs below the knee. I'm not sure how far below, but yeah. And this is like devastating. He's an athlete and he has a family, and it's just like having to deal with this. But I think in the moment they were just relieved that he survived this experience. And I mean, he has been just, I will couch this with saying Kostomarov is also someone who has said some things about certain communities that have been very offensive and were criticized heavily. So, it's not that just, has to be mentioned. But anyway, he comes out of this experience just in a very heroic way. It's fitted with prosthetics, starts working out again, gets his strength back, learns to skate again, he does a skating show where he skates with Domina, and he's like doing crossovers, like skating by himself in prosthetics. Wow. It's extraordinary. And he's seen as this just like incredible hero that fought through this and recovered. He's also started like a singing career. So he sings at these skating and gymnastics shows and, performs in them. And yeah.
Wow.
Woo.
Yeah. Quite the epilogue. Quite the lore episode, Michelle.
I will also say here, I didn't mention this, but all of the Russian coaches too that like were in the U.S. have gone back. Linachuk and Karponasov are back. Krylova, who was coaching in Detroit, she went back. We still have Spielman and we have Zueva in the U.S. Not together anymore, as we'll get to later. But Russian skating has in a lot of ways gone back to Russia.
Very interesting. What a lore episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for sticking with me. This has been a long one.
No, thank you for sticking with us.
Yes.
I can't wait for part 3.
I feel like I've given you enough history where you can just jump into 2007 and go straight forward from there. And you'll know all the characters.
I'm ready.
And yeah.
I can't
Michelle,
wait.
this was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening yet again to the lore. We'll be back with part 3 next week.